What's going on, my fellow A-Plusers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode of A-Plus Morphinominal, your stop for your Power Rangers Super Sentai Kamen Rider review and news right here on our YouTube page. It is I, your Morphinominal host, as always, Adam Perez, coming through once again with a brand new episode as we go live every Saturday at noon Central Time, ladies and gentlemen, to hopefully kick your weekend off right. And guys, when I said we have a stack show today, we have a stack show today. Not only are we going to get into a ton of Tokusatsu news, we got stuff from Kiramager for you guys, Zenkaiger for you guys today, but today is the day. Today is the day to really celebrate Power Rangers Dino Fury, ladies and gentlemen, as we in fact did get ourselves a brand new trailer. We also got ourselves some character descriptions, hell, some episode descriptions. So we're definitely going to be talking a ton about Power Rangers Dino Fury to go ahead and kick off this episode. But we definitely do have other news and things like that for you guys this week. So I certainly hope that you guys join us and definitely enjoy this week's episode. So definitely listen, kick back, relax, put your feet up. If you got some breakfast, if you haven't eaten breakfast, maybe an early lunch, go ahead, man, get comfortable as we go ahead and talk everything Power Rangers and Tokusatsu here this week. But you guys know how we love to do around here. Before we do, some quick shout outs to those that have in fact sort of joined us live. We got Nick Thomas in the house. We got Jack who's in the house also. Jordan certainly coming through. What's up, Jordan? Thank you very much for that. We got Noah Cummings in here as well. I'm Uglies in here, man. Listen, don't be so hard on yourself. You know what I'm saying? We got to work on eventually maybe getting that name changed for you, man. Don't think so down of yourself. Dino Real Soul Fury certainly in the house. We got Blossom in here as always. What's up, Loyal? Thank you very much for certainly coming through. Frankie's in the house today as well. So thank you very much. It looks like there's a ton of you guys out there that are super pumped to talk about Dino Fury today. Matthew, what's up, man? I'm so glad to see that you wind up joining us today. We got Anthony certainly in the house also. Doomsday certainly coming through. Johnny, what's up, my boy Johnny? Put him in the body bag. Yeah. What's up, man? Good to see you. Isaiah's in the house also. We got Alexis gracing us with her presence also. JB says, what? Is here too. And then we also got Shadow Nova in the house. We got Kwaku certainly coming through also. We got another Isaiah, this time being the Red Ranger. Unless you're the same person, Isaiah, from Facebook that just messaged. I'm not quite sure. But regardless, I appreciate everybody certainly here today. Listen, if you guys love our content and you keep coming back on a week-to-week basis, especially if you're in that live chat, do me a big favor, guys. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that big like button. That like button, trying to get over at least 30, maybe 40 likes this week. It really does certainly go a long way. And if you haven't subscribed, smash that subscribe button along with that bell notification as well. We got Edward Sanchez Productions in the house. Good to see you still sticking around, Edward. Thank you very much, man. We got Jared in here as well, along with the A Games 10 certainly coming through. Man, you guys are making me feel so special today. So special today. But thank you very much, guys. I'm sorry if my beard is getting a little bit out of control. I planned on trying to trim it earlier today, but come to find out, my batteries are in fact dead. So I do need to go ahead and pick up some new batteries before we do. Enrique, what's up, man? Probably a cousin of mine from somewhere. I'm not quite sure. But is there going to be a Dino Fury theme song coming? I don't know. I don't think that they're probably going to leak that. I feel like maybe we'll find out as we get as the actual premiere winds up dropping. I can't remember if they released the theme song for Dino Fury early the past couple of seasons or not. I can't really remember off the top of my head. I wouldn't mind it if somebody dropped the official theme song before we got into the episode. But for me, I'm cool with waiting around. I'm honestly cool with waiting around until the episode itself, to be perfectly honest with you guys. A couple things of business before we go ahead and move on to our main topics. As you guys currently know, we got to keep the lights on around here and continue to bring you guys a fantastic amount of content. And in order for us to do that, we definitely have ourselves a Patreon. If you guys want to go ahead and continue to support this channel in any way that you certainly can, we definitely would appreciate that. We actually did get ourselves a brand new Patreon subscriber in Roberto this past week, aka Van. So thank you very much, Roberto, for certainly coming through and being a Patreon member. But you get exclusive content and early access content, not only to APlus Morphinominal, but also our other sister YouTube channel in APlus Hero Report. So you're really getting two channels worth of exclusive content as well as early access stuff. As of right now, when it comes to Super Sentai, we do have ourselves an early access to our Gokaiger reaction videos. I believe on YouTube, we're only up to episode number 9 or 10, whereas for our Patreon, we're actually up to number 18 at this moment. We also have an exclusive only Go Ranger reaction videos that we currently have up there. I believe we're up to episode number 9 or 10 when it comes to that, but that is an exclusive to Patreon. It probably will never get the opportunity to be on our YouTube page. So if you guys do want to go ahead and support the channel, definitely go ahead and check it out. We definitely would appreciate you guys definitely coming through. And if anything, we have a ton of tiers that you guys can certainly select from if you are in fact fascinated. So as of right now, we've got 3 different tiers: $1, $5, $10. The $1 tier right now does give you some access to our Discord community. We also provide audio versions of all of our shows as well. If you're on the go, can't perhaps make it to sit down and watch it in front of the YouTube, we do offer audio in regards to our $1 tier. So we're constantly posting there on a weekly basis, or excuse me, on throughout the week, honestly, with all our reaction videos, all of our audio stuff and things like that. Even have some reviews for you guys if you're big Star Wars fans as well. So definitely go ahead and check out our Patreon whenever you certainly get a chance. I will go ahead and put a link in the description box below, guys, if you certainly would like to go ahead and support the channel in any other way. So it definitely would go a long way. So guys, also, if you do have a live viewer question, you guys know we like to get to your live viewer questions at the end of our episodes. So if you want to go ahead and start submitting them over right now or throughout the entirety of this show, you certainly can. We'll get through all the topics, and then whatever live viewer questions we'll definitely go ahead and tackle towards the end of the show. You can submit those over. Oh, you know what? Let me take down this banner because the banner's giving you the wrong address. AplusMorePhenomenal@gmail.com, guys. Again, AplusMorePhenomenal@gmail.com. Go ahead and submit your questions over at any point in time throughout the week, really, or as of right now, to go ahead and let your thoughts be known, because I feel like we are getting a lot more people that are joining us for our live chats and things like that. So it gets harder and harder for me to get to all the comments. So if there is a question or a comment that you definitely want to make sure is answered live on air, go ahead and submit that over. Again, AplusMorePhenomenal@gmail.com, guys. All right. I guess with that out of the way, I think Yoda himself is ready to get into some news this week. Listen, earlier this week, we did go ahead and post a video in regards to Power Rangers Dino Fury. They did, in fact, release not only brand new photos for us, but they also got the opportunity to release brand new character descriptions. We did do a video for that earlier on in the week. If you guys wind up missing it, go ahead and certainly check it out. I was actually surprised as to how much steam that video actually got. It's over like 5,000 views as of right now. So I guess people really were impressed with the content that they wind up getting. But we did get ourselves character descriptions earlier, and we'll talk about them here just a little bit. But there was a part of me that was thinking to myself, you know what? I would not be surprised if we wind up getting more news by the end of this particular week. I didn't want to maybe do another video until we certainly did get more information. That's why I kind of sat on things until today's episode, because I knew that we were probably going to get something, whether it be a trailer, whether it be a release date, whatever the case might have been. I definitely wanted to go ahead and wait. And as of yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, we wind up actually getting ourselves our very first ever, well, I don't want to say very first ever, but an official trailer to Power Rangers Dino Fury. They also went ahead and released a brand new wall screen or brand new poster and things like that for you guys to certainly enjoy. Loving the promotional material that we've seen so far, honestly. So really impressed with it. But we did, in fact, have ourselves a release date for Dino Fury, along with a brand new trailer that wind up dropping. This article actually comes to us from IGN.com, and we'll go ahead and break it down here in just a little bit. But they also have the character descriptions attached to that as well. And we also wind up getting ourselves brand new photos this week. Getting the opportunity to see our cast members. It looks like maybe after wrapping up some filming for one of the episodes or whatever the case may be. A nice little promo video, promo photo, if you ask me, getting ready for Dino Fury. The cast looks great. They look like they're really ready to go ahead and tackle this series. And then we get the opportunity to see them actually in their suits themselves. You I know that we don't necessarily get to see them in suits all the time. They clearly do have sort of stunt doubles and those that certainly go through some of the fight sequences with them and things like that. So I'm not quite sure exactly how much time they certainly do spend in their costumes themselves. But I mean, we clearly have seen them do some stunt work, working with fight choreography. I don't know if that's just necessarily in the civilian mode or from time to time, maybe they are in costume. Who certainly knows? But I love just the shot of getting the opportunity to see them in their uniforms without their helmets on and things like that, just proudly repping being a Power Ranger. And just look at the big old grin on their faces, man. They just look like they're just thrilled to be there. And I think for me, that's really infectious in regards to getting me hyped for Dino Fury. Just really seeing just how happy this entire cast is, honestly. So shout out to them for having an amazing opportunity. If you follow them anywhere on IG, you hear them talk about just how blessed they are to have this opportunity to be in a brand new country, to see some of the sights, to have these brand new experiences, making brand new friends, seeing the support from the fellow fans and things like that. So I love that shot. That's actually one of my favorite shots of the entire team, honestly, just because they just look super happy to be in their costumes. And honestly, if I was rocking a Power Ranger costume, I probably would look all cheese and all grin all day long also. So really great to see how happy that they definitely are. But guys, you know what? Let's dive into this this article, shall we, in regards to IGN, because this will give us the opportunity to highlight this trailer a little bit. So let's go ahead and check this out here, guys. So this is an exclusive from IGN. I'm assuming Hasbro. That's where Hasbro decided to go ahead and reveal this before maybe it making its waves sort of on its Twitter account and things like that. But it does say the next generation of Power Rangers has arrived. IGN can exclusively reveal the release date for Dino Fury, which will premiere Saturday, February 20th at 8 a.m. Eastern time, which technically to me just means, what's that, 7 a.m. Central time for me. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be sleeping that day, but don't worry, I will be watching the episode because, as always, we do reviews for Power Rangers right here on APlus Morphinominal every Saturday at noon Central time when there is, in fact, a brand new episode. So again, if you are looking for a home for your Dino Fury reviews, this is certainly the place, guys. So again, hit that subscribe button if you get the chance. But we definitely will be focusing on Dino Fury once it premieres here. But that is February 20th. Last week we just talked a little bit about the idea of when it was going to go ahead and premiere. We hadn't had a release date as of yet. We were kind of taking stabs in the dark, kind of speculating a little bit. And one of the things that we did speculate at was, for me, I think I predicted maybe the 27th, right? Like maybe that week afterwards. To kind of maybe get the opportunity to release your stuff before Zenkaiger certainly does, right? I feel like you want to get ahead of that wave of that brand new release. I don't even know if Hasbro even considers that type of stuff, to be perfectly honest with you. But I do like the idea of at least a 2-week gap between Dino Fury and Zenkaiger. I mean, talk about the idea of being able to get yourself some sort of momentum. So even though I said February 27th, or at least I speculated the 27th, hey, I'll take February 20th. If it wants to come early, I'm definitely not going to crap on it at all. So bring it on, guys. Bring it on. It does say that, as the title suggests, the team will be following the dinosaur power theme. We already know that. Shown back in 1993 with Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin. Then you got Dino Thunder and, of course, the Dino Charge team. It says, according to Nickelodeon, Dino Fury, an army of powerful alien beings is unleashed on Earth, threatening life as we know it, and a brand new team of Power Rangers, fueled by the prehistoric power of dinosaurs, are recruited to deal with the threat. And then we have a brand new exclusive photo of them. They have the character descriptions. Where did the trailer go? Oh, is this the trailer? Haha, I just passed right by it. I was just so thrilled at looking at the beautiful Rysoulger image here that I completely forgot all about this. So let me is my stuff on? Just want to make sure my stuff's on mute. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this. We do have some awesome look at some Zords here. First off, this cockpit here, I don't know. I'm sorry I paused on the Red Ranger's legs split right in front of your face, guys. I apologize. The cockpit here, a brand new original cockpit, definitely different from what we wind up getting in its Super Sentai counterpart in Rysoulger. The Rysoulger just reminded me of Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon, with all the damn mirrors and all the like tricks, the trickery of looking through the Rysoulgers through the mirrors and stuff. It was pretty trippy, but kind of cool design that they wind up having. I didn't necessarily know if it would translate over to here pretty well, but I kind of like the idea of them going back to an original cockpit a little bit. I do miss the individual cockpits. But to see this, for me, this looks better design wise, instead of everybody just being just in one gigantic row. For me, the angles here just really present something a little bit different. It's a little bit more of a dynamic sort of feature to me, having one person in the middle and then sort of that V shape, if you will. Because to me, just the regular line was just so boring, and it just took up so much space, so much negative space on the screen. I feel like, because you would just have your Rangers and a bunch of space up top and up bottom. So I do like the idea that even though it is an original cockpit, that they are at least kind of, I like the idea of being in front of something that you can actually control. I've never really been a big fan of the whole we do movements and then our Zord does movements. But if that's the route that they're certainly going, I don't mind this setup. I actually prefer this setup over past Power Ranger setups similar to this style. I have seen people complaining also about maybe how dark some of the shots are in here, especially with this the Megazord cockpit itself. I definitely see what they're saying. Like, the lighting in this particular scene, even though it's brief, is pretty dark. And you also notice it too when it comes to the fight sequences inside of the command center, which, mind you, I love these fight sequences. I mean, you want to talk about highlighting or getting the opportunity to highlight original fight sequences, fight choreography, stunt coordination. From what I've seen in this trailer so far, it looks fire. It looks fire. And it doesn't surprise me. And the reason why it doesn't surprise me is because when you look at Rysoulger as a series itself, that series, for me, while I personally wasn't the biggest fan of it, I know that there's certainly some fans are, and that's certainly more than fine. The things that did jump out to me about Rysoulger was, in fact, not only the Megazord battles, but also the fight sequences. They really kind of took it to the limit, if you will, with its fight sequences. So, I know the fact that they are going to be maybe pulling back on overusing Super Sentai footage. I mean, we've already seen that with Beast Morphers. They really do want to try and push original footage. But if you are going to be kind of swapping in between original footage and Super Sentai, you got to make sure that your own original footage can match sort of the ferocity that is the Rysoulger action sequences too. And I really do feel as though that's exactly what we're going to get here. And to prove the point here, let me go ahead and remove this. To prove the point that those are, in fact, the type of sequences that we're going to be getting, I got to give a quick shout out to Power Scoop, powerscoop.com, for posting this story. But he said, Steve McQuillan, the stunt coordinator, returns to Power Rangers. For those of you who don't know who he is per se, it says McQuillan's last Power Ranger credit was as the assistant stunt coordinator in Jungle Fury. He is now back working on Power Rangers Dino Fury. It says some of his work he's had for multiple Power Rangers seasons since the production moved to New Zealand. Steve has been part of Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, SPD, Mystic Force, Operation Overdrive, and Jungle Fury as their stunt coordinator or assistant stunt coordinator. So if you miss sort of that Disney era sort of fighting style, if you will, it's back. It's back, guys. They're definitely taking it up a notch, is what this tells me. So Steve McQuillan, just from the trailer alone that I've seen, he's clearly doing his job right. And while I haven't had necessarily too much of a problem when it comes to the fight sequences for Beast Morphers, I really enjoyed the fight sequences. There is something really special and unique about what they were able to do during the Disney era that I really still kind of hold on to and really wish that they kind of brought back. So I'm glad that Hasbro and Simon Bennett and whoever was in charge of making this decision for their stunt coordinator, Steve McQuillan, I feel like as best as it comes, man. So I'm glad that we get that opportunity to kind of revisit it. So it definitely makes sense as to why we have ourselves the action sequences that we see already within this first trailer that we wind up getting. So let's kind of go back to this trailer here, because we get the opportunity to see a little bit of a roll call. Finally, we get ourselves a little bit of a morphing sequence. And I gotta say, while I love this shot here and I love this this moment, I gotta say, and I try not to nitpick on little things like this. I cannot, but I got to be honest with you about how things hit me when I see them for the first time. And while this isn't the first time I've watched this trailer, when I have watched this trailer, I gotta say, Russell, I'm gonna need this. It's Morphin time to be a little bit more powerful, man. I'm gonna need a little bit more passion. I know we can't all be Austin St. John when we say it, but it's Morphin time. Like something. Like I want to see the passion coming from you. And listen, look, I don't know what the context of this episode is, right? I don't know if this could be Russell's very first time, like Zato's very first time even saying that, right? He could still be uncomfortable with the idea of sort of even being in this world or being awoken during this time period, if you will. So I'm not going to give it too much crap again because of the fact that I don't know the context in which we're certainly seeing this shot, right? There could be some uncertainty behind Zato when we first kind of meet him. Maybe he's not sort of that passionate red immediately. Maybe it's the idea of a leadership that he has to eventually grow into. I'm not quite sure, but Russell, I'm really hoping you deliver this line with more oomph as we get along in the season, man. I honestly wish, like, if anything, I wish whoever put this trailer together, was there not any other versions of Russell Curry or this entire cast, like where he says it, where it comes across a little bit better? I would have loved a little bit more oomph, but that's just a little bit of a nitpick of mine. But the cast looks great. I mean, when I look at this, they look like they're ready to get down to business. And ooh, did you see that? Did you see that, guys? That's one of my favorite shots. Getting the opportunity to see the Pink Ranger Hunter herself with that spin slash. Tell me that wasn't sweet. Tell me that wasn't sweet. And I love also. I'm sorry, I got to see her do that one more time. God, I always love that move. And I wanted to pause here too. You know, when it comes to Rysoulger, they do have this thing where when they morph, they wind up having these little sort of armored men sort of jump out and then like jump onto them. And these little armor men then become their armor, if you will. Like these little dino knights kind of run up to them and do these little dances in Rysoulger. I don't know if that's going to make its way here to the American version, or if they're going to completely give us an original morphing sequence or a morphing call. But I do love the morphers on here. Clearly, we've already seen the communicators. I'm assuming they tap the communicators, and then the morphers wind up actually coming onto their arms. But I love just that slick circular motion, which we saw in Rysoulger. But I love the fact that here in Dino Fury, they're actually adding sort of a special effect to kind of go along with it. I think that shot looks great of seeing the team honestly get ready. And it looks like Zato, maybe he just acquired his abilities, because he looks like he's still rocking some of his garb here, some of his costume, maybe that when we originally kind of see him. So from going into Hunter's spinning attack to this morphing sequence, I thought was pretty spectacular. Getting to see Sporix kind of just exploding, poor Crayon himself just kind of exploding in front of Zato's knife. I thought that was a pretty cool shot. And we get to see some explosions here. Now, it doesn't look like it's quite the smoke colors, if you will, from like the classic eras, but I love the fact that they at least add some color to their explosions, to say the least. And the powerful new Megazords, I'm glad that they highlighted them also, because guys, I got to tell you, ooh, that stunt work too, my God. But going into just the Zord itself, the Zord battles, I cannot wait for you guys to see, especially here in America. If you guys have not had the opportunity to see Rysoulger or what they were able to do in Super Sentai, talk about just the most I was going to say maneuverability, but I don't even know if that's even a word. The Zord with the most ability to maneuver with ease that you've ever seen, man, that you've ever seen. The design is so slick, especially around sort of like the leg area. It really allows it to run rather well, throw kicks rather well. Just really impressive when it comes to not only just the Zord battles, but really just how the Zord moves. It's unlike anything that you've ever seen from prior Zord battles. Not that big clunky sort of blocking movement, if you will, right? So prepare to be amazed as to what this Zord can certainly do, guys. So for me, when they say powerful new Megazords, I know exactly what they're talking about, and I could not be more hyped. The wire work even looks incredible here with this jump up from Hunter, and even that slash here from Zato, if you will. And then we get ourselves a great shot of the team, mind you, which I do believe is taken from maybe the very last episode of Rysoulger, because if you look closely enough, guys, you can actually see some of the upcoming power ups that this team is certainly going to give to you. And while I certainly don't look at this as a spoiler, it's, to me, it's certainly more of a tease, because it hasn't really revealed to us how they get their abilities. They haven't really showcased to you what those abilities do. It's just like, hey, look what we have in store for you guys this season, and it looks like they've got plenty in store for us. So I'm really hyped for this, guys. I truly am. Was that the end of the trailer? I believe that certainly was. But I love that stunt work, and for me, I have a feeling, I'm wondering if a lot of the shots that we're seeing and a lot of the clips might come from just the very first 2 episodes, if you will. Since we got the character descriptions a little bit already, the episode descriptions, which we'll talk about here briefly. I'm assuming, if anything, maybe some of the shots that we have seen in the trailer might come for that. But if there is anything out of the trailer that really stood out for me, the action sequences looked fantastic. I cannot wait to see what that battle looks like inside of the command center. I'm assuming, if anything, maybe they kind of discover the command center for the very first time, because from some of the action sequences that we see, we're only seeing 3 characters: Ollie, Amelia, and Zato in that command center. So I'm assuming maybe they come across it and realize that, these enemies are already there, or maybe they wind up getting ambushed when they discover their particular command center or whatever this particular base is. And it seems as though like all hell ensues. It looks like a Bruce Lee movie where it's just like 1 or 2 or 3 of these people facing off against a whole entire army. The idea that we see Hunter doing her spitting thing with her sword and she's taking out like 6 or 7 dudes. It looks like Kai, or I should say Ollie himself, is trying to handle like 3-on-1 situation. And the wire work is back, guys. I cannot wait. I just hope that the story itself delivers upon what we're getting so far in this season. So if I did have any nitpicks about the trailer, again, maybe some of the lighting is a little bit dark, whether it be in the command center, whether that be in the cockpit. I am kind of curious once we actually see it for the episode itself. Again, these are just quick images, if you will. I am wondering if it will look significantly different once we get it. I do wish that the Zato, its morphing time, was a little bit more powerful. I still kind of get those Dino Charge kind of vibes from this series also, but that's certainly to be expected, right? I mean, I feel like that was one of our very first gripes that we had when they announced Dino Fury. The idea of dinosaurs again is just going to be another Dino Charge type of thing, right? Like, we already went through that process of realizing that this series is going to maybe look a little bit similar, feel a little bit similar from time to time from Dino Charge. But trust me when I say it definitely is its own series. And I'm really hoping that, if anything, the writers definitely add their own flair to this particular series to really give it some a much needed oomph, if you will, to really keep it different from what we have seen in past Dino iterations, if you will. So I understand people's hesitancy when they see this trailer and say, oh, it feels like it's the same thing that we've gotten before. But there are plenty of things in here that I can definitely see to really get hyped for, things that look new, things that really kind of get me excited for Dino Fury. So count me in, guys. I was already sold, especially with this cast and with the stuff that we've been seeing right now. Also, yeah, I'm definitely a very, very big fan. Let's go overhead real quick. I do want to go ahead and transition. Oops, Adam, what'd you do there? There we go. Look at this shot. Aren't they great looking, man? This whole team looks great. I do want to go ahead and transition over to the episode descriptions. We did get brand new episode descriptions that wind up dropping this week. And I kind of trying to also attach some of the photos that we have seen to these episode descriptions. So as of right now, episode number 1 has Destination Dinohenge. I'm assuming that's like Stonehenge, kind of harkening back to one of the I'm assuming maybe this photo that we wind up seeing here from earlier on this week when it was in fact released. So I'm assuming this is, if anything, this is in fact the Dino Henge area. So it says, go-getting reporter Amelia accompanies Ali and his mom, Dr. Akana, to investigate the mysterious Dino Henge statues. They run into an evil warrior named Void Knight, and a threat that puts the entire world in danger. So we already get the opportunity to see that Amelia and Ali certainly are in fact going to be getting most of the attention here. I am wondering if this is another shot that might have come from that particular episode, as well as those two are clearly having to become dependent on one another for that episode. So it definitely seems as though the Void Knight is definitely going to be making his presence known immediately. I don't believe the Void Knight popped up in Rysoulger, or Gysor popped up in the Rysoulger into at least a few episodes down the road. So they definitely are sort of kicking off with, I guess they realize how badass of a costume and design Void Knight is, and they're just thinking to themselves, we need to include this guy as quickly as we possibly can. So I do love the fact that that is in fact our very first episode description. Second episode says Sporix Unleashed. It says Ali carries out a plan to catch Sporix without his teammates' knowledge. When monsters take advantage of his idea, Ali realizes the benefit of working as a team. So, I've already seen people complaining about this particular episode already, saying, episode 1 sounds pretty good, but episode 2 sounds just like it's going to be a lesson of the day or team lesson, yada, 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 like the cliche episodes that we get from Power Rangers. Listen, Power Rangers, guys, is always going to give us life lessons. Sometimes people don't necessarily learn some of these lessons as a kid. Sometimes they got to learn lessons as an adult as they get older. And so just based off of maybe even say the character description from Ali that we've gotten, Ali is a confident, logical skeptic who always needs to prove he's right and is never afraid to share his opinion. Growing up, he's traveled the globe with his archaeologist mom, Dr. Akana. Ali believes that everything can be proven and explained by science. So somebody who always needs to prove he's right, someone who's not afraid to kind of share his opinion, it definitely seems as though Ali it's very headstrong, if you will, that this is a guy who really believes in himself and thinks that he can really accomplish anything. And there's definitely nothing wrong with that. But there are lessons that people certainly do need to learn in life, that you necessarily can't handle everything by yourself, that it's okay to certainly be a part of a team, if you will, and understand the value and benefits of working as a team together. So for me, I look at this character description and it fits perfectly for who the character is that they're going to be focusing on. So for me, it makes absolute sense. And I really want to see what Kai Moya is certainly going to bring to the role as Ali in here. So I'm definitely not going to complain about the character descriptions, or I should say the episode descriptions, even though it is definitely on the nose of a team lesson or a life lesson, if you will. If the character needs that life lesson, it definitely makes sense to me. So I'm glad that we're going to get the opportunity to see Ali front and center there. I will say this. I feel like when it comes to Power Rangers as of recent, since Hasbro's kind of picked it up, I'm wondering if Ali, the Blue Ranger, is going to get just as much attention as Ravi did. Like, one of the characters out of Beast Morphers that really impressed me, that got more spotlight and more character development than I expected him to get, was in fact Ravi. So I like the idea that the writers aren't focusing solely on making the Red sort of the center piece of the team, that they are kind of taking their time to develop and establish these other characters so that they're just as meaningful as the rest of the cast and the rest of the characters as we go forth. So Amelia seems as though she's going to play a significant role in this series. Ali already seems as though he's going to be playing a significant role also, and we'll see how the other two fit. I'm definitely under the impression, though, alone that maybe the first episode, maybe we'll just get I'm wondering if we're just going to get just the three characters. Like, I'm wondering if it's just going to be Zato, Amelia, and Ollie that are going to be focused on, very similar to how they did it with Rysoulger, because it always felt as though pink, blue, and red always came together as a team, and then the brothers certainly came together as a team, and they were just kind of always doing their own thing, and then periodically, they would meet up halfway through the episode, or maybe at the beginning of the episode, or whatever the case may be. So I am wondering if they're going to handle that sort of the same way too. Our first three Rangers, and then maybe Javier, Javi and Izzy, maybe they pop up on on the scene together, if you will. So we'll see how the writing team winds up handling their adaptation of Rysoulger. But from everything that I've seen so far, I'm really hyped, man. I'm really hyped. Could it be the same old, same old? Obviously, it certainly could. But with Beast Morphers, the great taste that it's certainly left in my mouth, the idea that I can expect Chip Lynn and Simon Bennett to maybe want to go even bigger, or maybe a little bit bolder when it comes to their storytelling. I'm all for it. Honestly, I'm all for it. So we got brand new directors that are going to be joining the crew here, right? Not the same old two or three, but definitely an influx of brand new visions in regards to what Power Rangers should certainly look like. So Dino Fury should be a pretty interesting season, to say the least. And not only that, but we also have a returning Mick from Ninja Steel, played by Kelson Henderson. So I'm really eager to see how he's implemented and even fits into all this. Like, for me, guys, like I want to know, like, is Campbell Cooley coming back? Is he going to be the really cool dinosaur guy that's accompanying Mick in this in the couple of photos that we've seen at the beginning? Also, if I'm keeping my fingers crossed, I hope Campbell Cooley's either playing the Sporex character or this new dinosaur character, the original character that they wind up introducing. Maybe I'll reach out to Campbell this week and talk to him and be like, hey man, can you give me some Dino Fury info? No, he's pretty good, man. He's pretty tight-lipped in regards to that type of stuff. I'm assuming maybe they have some sort of NDA that they have to sign, that they can't really tell anybody about details, but who certainly knows. But I'm eager for this, guys. I truly am. And listen, at the end of the day, I want to know your guys' thoughts. You've seen it all. The trailer itself, February 20th, is in fact the premiere for this. We got episode descriptions. For me, I think when I go into this, just the squad alone, if there are any characters that just jump out at me, just from the descriptions, just from the trailers, the three that I'm really going to have my eyes focused on, probably Amelia as Hunter Deno, the paranormal journalist, or I should say the journalist, the reporter who is really focused on paranormal stuff, and then the brother and sister in Javi and Izzy. Tessa Rao, just an absolute beauty. I mean, look at that smile, man. How can you not be fascinated to see what she's going to do as a Green Ranger, especially considering the fact that the Green Ranger has now officially been gender swapped out, right? So just from watching just some of the original footage from the trailer, I am wondering if they really have excluded a lot of the Green Ranger Super Sentai footage from this. I am truly curious if anytime we get the opportunity to see Javi and the Green Ranger on screen together, if it's going to be original footage, or if they may try and sneak in some Super Sentai footage of the Green Ranger from time to time. So I will be fascinated to see how things turn out. But yeah, those three will probably be the ones that I'm looking forward to the most going into this season, and we'll see how Kai and Russell wind up doing, both as Ollie and Zato, going into this season, and see really the impact that they wind up leaving when it comes to Power Rangers at the end of the day. So I definitely want to know what you guys think in regards to Power Rangers Dino Fury. You have all the details now. Definitely go ahead and let me know your guys' thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. I am kind of curious if we're going to be getting ourselves any type of team ups or crossovers. They have mentioned the idea that we probably should keep our expectations low for crossovers and team ups. But the fact that you managed to bring Mick back, like, I am wondering, like, who's already a part of sort of this squad that for this season that we haven't even been introduced to as of yet. So I am really eager to see who has in fact made it to New Zealand, and who certainly hasn't as of right now. I believe that they have mentioned the idea that there will be surprises from time to time throughout this season. I definitely do feel they will go out of their way to try and do it. Whether it'll be as big or as massive as we certainly hope it'll be, who certainly knows? But I will say I am definitely looking very forward to what they have in store for us. But guys, definitely go ahead and let me know your thoughts, and we'll continue along here with some Dino Fury talk for you guys, because as of yesterday, I believe this was actually yesterday, or maybe this was today. No, I'm pretty sure this was maybe last night when this information dropped. The Gold Ranger could potentially be in New Zealand as of right now. Here we go, guys. This is for Dino Fury Gold. This story actually comes to us from the Illuminati, letting us know that the Gold Ranger actor Jordan Fite arrives in New Zealand to film Power Rangers Dino Fury. Let's go ahead and see if I can pull up this article itself. We have been speculating on the idea of Jordan Fite being the Gold Ranger for quite some time. That we did have some sleuths over on our on Facebook. Excuse me, not on Facebook, on Twitter, that definitely did go ahead and do their research in regards to who the Sixth Ranger could potentially be. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to find. I do, because I wanted to give props where props is due. The first person that I knew that called Jordan Fite for the Gold Ranger was in fact over on Twitter, Jinsaku, at Jinsaku. If you get a chance, they were actually the first person that I knew that wind up doing sort of the detective sleuthing, and then everybody else kind of came on board with it. But I could be wrong, but that's the first person that I remember picking up on the idea that Jordan Fite could potentially be doing that. Jinsaku, you can probably find them most likely on the podcast Time for Toku. They do have a YouTube page as well. Always giving their thoughts out there. But yeah, Jinsaku is the one that I personally got that information from. But if we do go over here to Illuminati, it does say that Jordan Fite arrives in New Zealand. It says Jordan Fite, who was previously reported to be playing the Gold Ranger on Dino Fury, has officially arrived in New Zealand, according to his Instagram. And here's a photo, it looks like, of Jordan Fite over in Auckland, taking some photos and things like that also. So he's definitely out there, guys. He's definitely there. It says Dino Fury has been filming for quite a while now, so it seems doubtful that Fite will show up as quickly as the recent Sixth Rangers. In most modern seasons, the Sixth Ranger usually shows up around episode 8. However, with how long Dino Fury has been filming, it seems the Sixth Ranger could be showing up later than the rest. Keep in mind that this is pure speculation, and it is possible that the character could show up anytime around that or earlier. So yeah, guys, Jordan Fite, the potential Gold Ranger, is over in New Zealand as of right now, and yeah, and getting ready for his big time to go ahead and certainly shine. I can't remember when the Gold Ranger pops up in Rysoulger. I definitely want to say early teens, maybe like episode 13 or 14 maybe. So I am wondering if they're going to wait a little bit, maybe for when we come back from our hiatus, right? Because we usually tend to get the first 8 or 9 episodes of Power Rangers, and then we usually take, leaves us on a little bit of a cliffhanger, and then we come back, during the fall season or late summer to kind of jump back into it. So maybe the Gold Ranger will reveal itself then. But I am fascinated to kind of see what the personality is that Jordan Fite is going to be bringing to the Gold Ranger. We haven't seen a character description at all from the Gold Ranger, so we don't really know the personality that we're going to be getting. But Jordan Fite is a little famous in his own right. I think homeboy has like a couple million subscribers over on TikTok. I think he's a TikTok guy, or maybe it's Instagram. He's got a couple million followers over. I'm not quite sure, but I don't believe he's got really a ton of acting experience. So we'll see what he winds up bringing to the table. I believe in Rysoulger, I don't want to say he was a womanizer, but he was more of a trying to find his love, trying to find his wife, to eventually sort of get married and settle down. And it was, I don't want to say he was a horn dog, but this guy would not leave the ladies alone. Like, he was trying to talk to every girl that just like looked his way, if you will. So we'll see what kind of attributes, if any, from Rysoulger kind of stick around for this particular upcoming season. So we'll definitely see, guys. But I did find it interesting that he is over there right now filming. And I'm assuming, if anything, they're probably still filming for Dino Fury. Like, I would love to see what the filming schedule is like. I almost feel like they just literally go from the beginning of season 1 all the way through all the episodes, with maybe a couple breaks here and there, maybe wrap up their complete filming maybe by like spring maybe of this year upcoming, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, there's a lot more filming for Dino Fury to certainly look forward to. But guys, listen, Gold Ranger now out in New Zealand. Are you pumped to kind of see what we wind up getting from him? I mean, if anything, like, the fact alone that we're just now getting Dino Fury here, it's even hard for me to even think about the idea of 10 or 12 episodes into the future, because I'm just so pumped to get episode number 1, if you will. But we're already looking to the future when it comes to the Gold Ranger. But guys, again, definitely go ahead and let me know your guys' thoughts in the live chat or comment section box below. Before I move on and transition, let me scroll up here and see who else has wind up joining us for some Dino Fury talk today. Olu Duru, what's up, Duru? Appreciate you coming through. Thank you very much. Red is not a flavor's in here today as well. Sam, what's up, Sam? Thank you very much for coming through. Toby's in the house as well. Thank you very much, Toby. Good to see you in here, man. I think we already said Shadow Nova Productions. If not, Shadow Nova Productions is in here. So Rob certainly making his presence felt as well. Thank you very much. Blossom says, you weren't kidding about the Pink Ranger's attack move. Phenomenal. More phenomenal. Yeah, the little spinning. I always love that move. That reminds me of Kill Bill with Uma Thurman when she's in the middle of fighting the hordes of enemy that are coming towards her. She does that same exact move too, I think, while standing. I always love that move. Sam says, go Brown Ranger. Listen, earlier this week on Twitter, I saw somebody put up a picture of Mick, and then I saw somebody put up a picture of the Brown Ranger, or as I like to call it, the Bronze Ranger. I always felt it was more bronze than brown because it did have a little bit of a orange metallic kind of shine to it, if you will. So I always looked at it as more of a bronze than a Brown Ranger. But it's funny, Sam, that you brought that up, because I did see a picture. Somebody put Mick right next to a picture of the Brown Ranger, and I started thinking to myself, who knows, man? Who knows? Dino Fury certainly in the house. I don't know if that's Dino Real Soul or not, aka AJ, or if this is actually, no, I do believe this is actually somebody else coming through with Dino Fury. He says, I think Russell being an alien could contribute as to why he doesn't say it's morphing time with more energy. Just my guess. I hope that they don't treat us as a human. And I definitely agree with you there, Dino Fury. I think that's one of the things that we mentioned was, we don't know the context, right? The fact that he is an alien, that he has just kind of woken up in present day. Maybe he just hasn't grown into that passionate Red that we certainly know and love type of thing. So yeah, there's definitely could be more to it for sure. That's why I didn't want to crap on it too much, because it's like, hey, this is just the beginning of the season, right? People getting comfortable into their roles. Because when it comes to filming for television, you really do sort of just film in order, episode 1 all the way to the end, if you will, or at least I feel like that's how most filming for television is certainly done. So it does give you the opportunity to eventually get more comfortable with not only your character, but also the rest of your cast and your teammates, and really start seeing it showcase a little bit better on screen. So I am looking forward to seeing that. Let's see here. Trying to see what else you guys are saying, just highlighting some things before we move on to our next topic. Just really get all the Dino Fury stuff in if we can before we move on. AJ says, just like the Dino Charge, only red, green, and pink form the main Megazord. I think it's blue. While green and black, I think that's okay. Yeah, you clearly meant blue and just mistyped green. While green and black were only the backup Zords and sidearms. Yeah, that's usually how that's definitely how it worked. Matthew says, looks like we're getting ourselves a great battle in the command center. Yeah, I cannot wait. I'm hoping, one of the things that really kind of hooked me into beast morphers was, if you recall, going back and watching the very first episode, that battle that they had in Grid Battle Force, next to all the Morph X technology and things like that, getting the opportunity to see Blaze and Roxy for the first time, right? Seeing our Rangers in civilian mode, having to face off against them. That battle sequence at the end of Beast Morphers, the first episode, was incredible. It really hooked me. I love the idea of original battle sequences like that, especially to kick off a season. So a part of me is keeping my fingers crossed that this massive battle in the command center will be our first official battle, to really see what Steve McQuillan is certainly going to be bringing to the table. And just from the wire work, some of the moves that we've seen, some of the stunts already, it could leave a really great sort of first impression, if that definitely is one of our first battles that we wind up getting for this season. Olu says, we had Beast Unleash, Evox Unleash, and now Sporex Unleash. Come on now, be creative. I will give you that. We could come up with some better names than that. Emmanuel, what's up, Emmanuel? I appreciate it. He says, "Will blue and pink hook up?" That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know where the relationships are going to grow out of this season. I think that would be a pretty cool. I think that would be pretty cool. Hunter and Ollie. We'll see what the relationship or the chemistry is like when they first bump into each other very early on in this season. We'll see if maybe they know of each other. Who certainly knows? Marcelino, what's up, Marcelino? I appreciate it. He says, to me, there's nothing stopping Hasbro from continuing adapting Sentai, but never use Japanese ever again. Just make it 100% original footage. I mean, it's definitely possible. Definitely possible. Who's to say that, they have mentioned the idea of continuing a kid show aspect. So maybe that's something that they will continue to possibly do, Marcelino, or maybe they just won't use anything Super Sentai created and start creating their own brand new suits. If you're going to go 100% original theme, maybe they figure if we're going to go that route, why continue to adapt something that we're not really going to use, right? Like if we're just going to use the suits, we might as well just make our own suits and create our own suits, if you will. So I definitely get what you're saying. Could they continue to do it that way? Absolutely, absolutely. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see what they decide on. For me, just looking alone, like if to be real with you guys, let me see if I can pull up this photo here. If I could be honest with you guys, the idea of creating an original costume doesn't seem too far fetched for me, because if I can be honest, if you're going to create an original character like this guy and have some incredible details to his design, also the intricacies, the horns, the feathers, the scales, right? If you're going to go out of your way to create an original character like that for this series, there's nothing that tells me you can't create brand new costumes and suits for a brand new original Power Ranger series, and just continue on like you have been over the past couple seasons. So I definitely do feel it certainly is possible. Let's see here. Shadow Nova says, I like the idea of Void Knight being the main villain. Definitely seems as though that's the route that it's going. We haven't I think in the character descriptions, they've mentioned the idea of the other villain, Boom Tower, maybe kind of working underneath the Void Knight. So I'm hoping that that's the case. I'm hoping that the Void Knight is the main villain and he just come out swinging, showcasing this main villain clearly does not have a problem trying to go toe to toe with you, right? He doesn't necessarily always need his generals or his people going out trying to take you out. He can probably do some of that on his own, right, if you will. Dino Real Soul Fury says, I love that Ali will be the fourth Filipino actor to play a Blue Ranger. I feel represented, and my favorite color is blue. Very nice, Dino. That's the importance of representation, right, and inclusion. And I love that Power Rangers has always been about that each and every year. Let's see here. Olu does say maybe the Ranger version of Precious should be the main villain. I would be okay with that either. Also, if I did have my suggestions, either the Void Knight would, Guy Sorg would definitely either be the main villain, or Precious would probably be the main villain from me, honestly. Alex, he says, I'm 17 minutes behind, but please no Kalish Polisons. I don't know what that is, Alex. But hey, you know what? I won't spoil anything for you, man. Don't worry. JB says what says Fart Source is the original character's name. No, I think that's I'm pretty sure that's a joke. I'm pretty sure that's a joke. If I swear to God, JB, if his name really is Fartosaurus, I'm gonna be pissed. I may not watch Dino Fury if he comes out farting in episode 1. We didn't get. Listen, the only reason why I doubt that that's his real name. One, I swear I read somewhere that was just made up. Two, I feel like we haven't had any fart jokes in Beast Morphers. It would just be really really this terrible to kind of go backwards, if you will, with fart jokes. Like Beast Morphers was fantastic without a single fart joke. So yeah. Marcelino says, is there an American voice actor you want to see come back for Power Rangers as a regular? I mean, I just want Campbell Cooley back, man. I'm sure there's plenty others, but as of right now, just bring me Campbell Cooley. I'm cool with it. Ooh, okay. Dino Fury and Marcelino both clarify this. Kelson Henderson is from New Zealand, so it was easy for him to come back. Makes sense then. That definitely makes sense that they were able to get him. I mean, I am curious as to, if anything, I am curious as to when like, why Mick though, right? Like, what is his connection? I want to know what his backstory is in regards to, like, what happened to him after Ninja Steel. Why did he happen to leave that group and do his own thing? Did he try and attempt to go back to his home at some point in time, and maybe he wind up getting thrusted into another dimension, right? So I'm kind of curious as to why Mick, of all the people, are certainly there. Is this sometime after Ninja Steel? Have Ninja Steel disbanded? Are we in that particular dimension continuity? I definitely need to know. A lot of people are referencing the idea that the Gold Ranger's been in New Zealand since December. I had never heard of that before, but that was the first time that I had seen an actual article about it, which is why we wind up bringing it up. Ranger Red is not a flavor says first black sixth Ranger is going to be fantastic. Yeah, first, man, in the history of Power Rangers, it only took us what 20 how many 27 28 seasons to get there, but we finally did it. We finally got some representation as the Gold Ranger, man. I love it. I hope he brings some swag and some great flavor to the role for sure. Shadow Nova says Squall Charleston was the one to break the Dino Fury cast. Even Jordan, the Illuminati said it themselves. Well, listen, I didn't. I'm just letting. So that's why I said whoever broke it first, that's certainly more than fine. For me, I know where I saw that information first, and I felt like after I saw that information, that's really when everybody started jumping on board with it. But maybe I'm wrong. If Squall did confirm it, hey, more power to him. I'm just giving the props where props are due for me to have who informed me as to who the Ranger was, because I can tell you right now, when that person revealed who the Gold Ranger was, it wasn't photo capturing it from somebody's website or Twitter account. No, it was like they did their own detective work as well. So wherever the credit goes to, be it as it may, I'm just shouting out as to who I know got the information first from me. Hey, Midwest, hey, you don't gotta apologize for being late, man. Just thank you for popping up in here, man. I do appreciate your support each and every week. Johnny Marrero is hyped for Jordan Fire. Jordan Fight, yeah, Jordan Fire should be his new name. Frankie, what's up, Frankie? Frankie's in the house. We got Maurice Scott in here. I believe I might have highlighted Frankie. I can't remember. Emmanuel, thank you very much. Emmanuel says Robo Knight should be the mentor, a mentor suit actor, and we need a Forever Gold series. Interesting. Is Beast Morpher still on Nickelodeon? No. I believe it still has, Beast Morpher's second season, the second half of second season has not hit Netflix as of yet. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't drop until after Dino Fury begins. Devin, what's up, Devin? Appreciate you coming through. I've been on since 13 minutes ago. Appreciate you coming through, man. Shadow Nova says, I'm betting Crayon is gonna be Sporex. It feels like that. I wasn't sure if Sporex was just the name of the villains or the name of the enemies or whatever the case may be. But it seems as though maybe Sporex is actually the guy's name. It definitely doesn't seem out of like left field, right? Like if you say the name Sporex and I look at Crayon, I'm like, yeah, I can kind of see that. Sam says, Izzy might be the comic relief. Possible. I am kind of curious as to who would be the comic relief of this group. I am hoping that it is Izzy. I hope she definitely brings that kind of flavor to it. I hope we don't have another comedic duo. It wouldn't surprise me if we did, though, honestly. But yeah, if anything, I would think maybe Izzy's the one. Well, she is super competitive, so maybe he does have a little bit of a sarcastic humor. Her brother did say he was Javi was kind of the quiet musician, so I'm wondering if out of the two, maybe because of the fact that her brother's quiet, maybe she's the more sort of outspoken one in the group. Who knows? Victory, what's up, Victory? Appreciate you coming through. They're the ones that actually asked the question. Do you think there will be a comedic relief character? I do feel as though there certainly will be. Now, whether or not that's going to be somebody as part of the team or an actual duo, I'm hoping, if anything, maybe Simon Bennett and the crew have kind of heard maybe some of the complaints that people have had from Beast Morphers, right? I think there is something important to, especially after a series drops, to see what your fan base liked or didn't like from that season, and maybe kind of switch things up a little bit. So I am hoping that maybe they heard some of the complaints about the idea of another comedic duo. There's nothing wrong with comedy relief. That's what we're asking for. I don't mind the idea. Like, I love Steel. I love the way that you present comedy, but it doesn't have to be a duo all the time. You can still get the same level of impact by just adding some character development and adding that sort of level of comic relief to one of the characters. I would be completely okay with that. So we'll see what happens. We'll see who it will be, but I definitely do expect to see one for sure. Kalish explosions. See, the way that he put it together, it completely confused me. The Kalish explosions, like the way that he typed it out, I was like, huh? But when you guys separate it, and I'm like, oh, I get what you're saying. I skimmed through when I wind up reading it, so it didn't make the connection. But yes, I definitely get what you're saying there in regards to the explosions. Terrell, what's up, Terrell? He says, Terrell says, one of my friends had commented on Russell's post and asked, will you guys still use the night aspects Russell had replied, "You'll find out soon." Yeah, he's definitely not going to give away any information like whatsoever. Um, but I can see some of the idea of night aspects. If not, maybe from Zato. Maybe Zato comes from that tribe, that night tribe, if you will. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, I mean, I do. He says, Shadow Nova says, I miss Kalash explosions. Those were epic. That's what most people say call the explosions from like Overdrive. Yeah, I do. I know what you guys are referring to, but when I read it out for some reason, when I skimmed through it, I was like, huh? But the fact that you guys are splitting it up into two different words, like I'm like, oh, okay, I get what you guys are referring to. But yeah, I love explode. I do. I do miss the Kalash explosions for sure. There was an epicness about it. It was something that honestly always got me hyped. So I am glad to see that we are getting those back. I didn't mind it. I honestly didn't mind them. Those got me hyped every time. I love it. I love them. I love the callus explosions. All right. I think if anything, and he says, "Will Alexis says, will Dino Fury have two seasons, if not Kiramager for 2022? We don't know about Kiramager as of yet, and they haven't confirmed Dino Fury to be two seasons. I don't believe. I mean, I know we're getting like 40 plus episodes. I'm assuming that's still going to be two seasons. As much as I personally want them to just knock them all out in one season, I don't think that's certainly what we're going to be getting, unfortunately. But we'll see. Let's keep our fingers crossed, guys. Let's keep our fingers crossed. I feel like there have been subtle hints out there to suggest the idea of one season. Whether or not they're going to pull whether or not they're going to whether or not they're going to pull the trigger on it, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Let's see here. And then Johnny says, I hope we see some awesome battle scenes from Steve McQuillan, like the Battleizer scene from Mystic Force. Oh, no, we're definitely going to be getting some. We're definitely going to be getting some. Make no mistake about that. Dino Fury is the perfect season to utilize that for sure. Just alone from the opening sequence of the trailer, if this is what Steve McQuillan is bringing to the table, yes, please. And may I have some more, please? May I have some more, Steve? Hopefully he gives it to us. Ooh, good question, Sarav. How do you think Gold Ranger would be accommodated in the cockpit? I think Homeboy might just have his own Zord. I wouldn't even bring him over, man. I wouldn't even bring him over into that cockpit. Red is not a flavor says we took Disney seasons for granted. I remember those explosions were derided in the fandom when they were happening. I love them in the morph sequences. Me too, man. Me too. And I have a feeling that once we see Dino Fury, we're probably all gonna miss the Disney era a little bit more also. So yeah, I definitely agree with you. All right, guys. Um, the A Games 10 does say the trailer promo to me feels like Nick is starting to give Power Rangers the respect it deserves in terms of how the trailer looks as well as the graphics. I mean, it's not necessarily Nickelodeon that puts that effort behind the special effects, right? Like that's all Hasbro's production company that's kind of doing all that. For me, I still like I appreciate the idea that if they're that they are highlighting this season at least 2 weeks out, but I still think that you could do more Dino Fury promotion even a little bit further back than that, honestly, to start getting people a little bit more pumped, if you will. But I feel like, listen, 2 weeks, I feel like it's still good momentum. Who knows the A Games 10? I mean, maybe they know Hasbro has big plans and maybe they want to get in on that. So maybe they feel like this season, hey, let's put some effort towards maybe promoting it. I don't know. The verdict is still out when it comes to Nickelodeon. I'm not going to give them all the credit in the world as of yet. But the trailer itself does look good. I think they put together a nice little piece, honestly. But we'll see. We'll see what the season itself actually holds for us. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, Nick promotion graphics. I get what you're saying. Yeah, like the idea, like at the end when you see the Dino Fury cast, the Dino Fury team, it looked like they were like graffitied onto like some sort of like steel grating or something like that. It was a pretty cool, like at the end of the trailer, it was a pretty cool Nick graphic. So I get what you're saying for sure. Maurice says, I have low expectations for Dino Fury, but hopefully it turns out good. Fingers crossed. And listen, I think probably that's the best way to go into any season or any show that you certainly have, to keep your expectations low. I feel like when I keep my expectations low for things and I go into it, I'm usually pretty surprised and usually pretty happy with sort of the end result. So I don't blame that at all, Maurice. You know, I don't necessarily know if I'm going in there with high expectations as I am going in there with just a lot of hype, you know, just a lot, just ready to go. Ready to go ahead and get this season started with. I like what I've seen so far. There are definitely some things that I would certainly like to see this season, but I wouldn't say my expectations are super high. I just want to see how they build off of what they've created so far in regards to Beast Morphers, and now this really being their first full season where it's really just theirs, if you will. You know what I mean? This isn't something that was just handed to them. This is really Hasbro saying, all right, this is our season. What can we do here? And I'm definitely going to give them the benefit of the doubt and see what they put together. But I don't blame you. I don't blame you, Maurice. I don't think there's anything wrong with that mindset. Just to at least protect your heart, man. You know, protect your heart in case things don't go so well with this season. Just protect it. All right, guys. I think other than that, we will be moving on to the next topic, because we have definitely gone through a ton of stuff here for you guys so far, and we definitely have some other things that we want to talk about. We'll stay in the Power Ranger realm for you guys, but I want to go ahead and transition over to the movies, the Power Ranger movie that we know in fact is coming from Jonathan Entwistle, as well as the writer in Brian Edward Hill. So let's go ahead and talk about this. I wanted to bring this up here, guys. Think of this as like a public service announcement. Good old PSA. I think we all love those, huh? You know, we've talked about this plenty times on our channel before. The idea of boundaries. Boundaries when it comes to Power Ranger fandom. This tweet right here that you guys see came from Brian Edward Hill. He is in fact the writer for the Power Ranger movie. He recently wrote, "I appreciate all of you here, seriously, but I can't read your Power Ranger movie ideas. If you send those into my DMs, I always stop reading when I realize that's what they are. You're hyped, I'm hyped. It's all good. It's all good. But I can't read your pitches. Sorry," is what Brian Edward Hill says. First and foremost, Brian, utmost respect for the way you presented this to the fandom. Some people could have been pissed, could have been yelling at fans, could have been calling fans stupid or whatever the case may be, right? I think he handled this with class because he understands the Power Ranger fandom, how passionate we definitely are, how hyped we definitely are for reimagining or rebooting. I mean, some people are, some are worried, understandable. But there definitely is talk going around, right? So the people are hyped, and I'm glad that he references that. Like, I appreciate hearing from you guys. You're hyped, I'm hyped. It's all good. I appreciate all the well wishes that are certainly coming my way, but I can't read your Power Ranger movie ideas. So I would just say this. There's nothing wrong with reaching out to these people, especially if it's just a, hey, great, congratulations. Hope you do a kick-ass job, and just kind of leave it at that. But again, the idea of pitching your ideas, your stories, just isn't going to go over well, just because of the fact that they cannot use your ideas, unfortunately. And it's really just all legal matters, because they don't want to use an idea if you don't happen to get credit for that idea, and then they post it in television or in the movies. Then they're going to get sued because somebody's trying to use their idea. Then people got to try and prove that you stole this idea from. It's a headache. It's a headache. So that's why if you have an idea for a Power Ranger movie, you got to become a writer. You got to go ahead and find your own writing agent and see if, pitch your ideas that way, the legal way, the right way. Because they can't just take your ideas that you throw out to them and say, hey, do this for a movie, and then it happens in the movie and then you don't get the credit, and then you get pissed that somebody used your idea. So it's really a way for them to kind of cover their ass that I'm pretty sure when it comes to TV and movies in general, they cannot use your ideas that you pitch to them. And that's one of the reasons why he says, if you send those into my DMs, I always stop reading when I realize that's what they are. So again, don't throw them out your ideas. If you truly want to be a writer and you want to have some sort of impact when it comes to Power Rangers, start taking your time out of your day to focus on your craft, focus on your work, become a writer, and go ahead and gain you a writing agent, and see what you can kind of create for yourself. Put yourself in their shoes, become a writer for television. See if you can eventually do something for Power Rangers in the future to where you can legally pitch your ideas to people. So again, there's a reason why he was hired to do this job, and we certainly weren't, right? So again, I'm not saying that you guys did. I mean, who knows? Maybe one of you guys did post, send him a pitch. I'm just saying, if you are going to reach out to these people, let it just be because you're congratulating them and you're really hyped to kind of see what they do. But just understand, ideas that you have, you cannot pitch unless you do have a writer's agent and you are in fact a writer yourself. So take the necessary steps, but don't bug other people with your ideas. That's all I'm saying. It's great to be creative, continue to write and continue to grow your own craft and become great at it. Learn how to write a script, whatever the case may be. But definitely put that energy towards that instead of giving somebody else your ideas that they certainly just cannot utilize at all, because legally they just cannot do it. So I just wanted to bring that to people's attention, because at least I'm just glad that he's addressing it the way that he did, and that it's just about Power Ranger ideas, and it's not the idea of the fandom like just harassing this dude. You know what I mean? I rather this than harassment, but this also cannot happen. Not because it's necessarily like a complete negative or downer, but just legally he just cannot do it. So keep your ideas to yourself. And if you want to go ahead and, I don't want to say keep your ideas to yourself, I mean, you can post them on Twitter, whatever the case may be, but just don't expect these people to be able to use anything that you wind up creating. If you want to create something, create something. That's why we have YouTube. That's why these little things right here are walk around video cameras. Create your own fan film. Start putting that creativity that you have, that you want to give these ideas. Don't give these ideas away. You go and create what you want to create, or what you certainly want to go ahead and see. So just use that as inspiration for yourself to get where you would like to get, where Brian Edward Hill is, so that your ideas and your writing can actually go ahead and maybe be seen one day on the big screen by everybody. So I just wanted to go ahead and bring that to everybody's attention. I thought that was pretty interesting stuff that we wind up getting. All right, guys. With that out of the way, we will transition a little bit over to some Tokusatsu news for you guys today. First and foremost, we have 4 more episodes of Kiramager to go, ladies and gentlemen. 42, 43, 44, and 45. We are wrapping up Kiramager here within the next couple of weeks. And it's going to be a sad day. It's going to be a sad day. But I wanted to talk a little bit about it today, because it seems as though filming has officially wrapped when it comes to Kiramager. And not only that, but the cast itself is actually speaking out and saying sort of their significant farewells to the show and to the cast and the rest of the fans for their time in supporting this. I mean, talk about a crazy year for Kiramager. I mean, coming out the gate swinging, some really great momentum. COVID winds up hitting and not only stops its production, it's now cost us maybe like 4 or 5 additional episodes, honestly, of the season. Freaking Ryo Kamayo, the Red Ranger Enduro himself, contracted COVID-19. He was on the shelf for 2 weeks as well. Also, he wind up recovering through everything and coming back as strong as ever. And so did the season. They did a really good job, I feel like, in between the shutdown of COVID, to still be able to present us with some pretty interesting sort of side episodes, if you will, to kind of fill in those weekly gaps. And even despite all that, Kiramager still managed to be a relatively great season, one that I've really come to enjoy. And as excited for Zenkaiger as I certainly am, this is really going to be a season to hard to say farewell to, because I really have enjoyed just the energy and the cast in general and everything they've certainly brought to it. So let's go ahead and highlight this real quick, guys, in regards to the cast itself saying farewell. This comes to us from Tokusatsu Network. Another great place for your Tokusatsu information. We are personally affiliated with jefusion.com, a fantastic Japanese entertainment blog. I definitely recommend you guys check out. But my other sources of news that I usually get for Tokusatsu is, in fact, Toku Nation, as well as Tokusatsu Network. So some really great sites for you guys to definitely check out. But the Kiramager cast shares thoughts as filming winds up airing. It says this week, Kiramager wrapped filming on the final episodes. The cast members have posted their thoughts on social media. So this actually comes to us from the Kiramager official Twitter account. It says, "Thank you for your support. Mashin Sentai Kiramager finished filming the other day, which was, I'm assuming, January 31st. So this past weekend, 4 episodes left to go. We're going to fight at full power going into the final episode. So don't take your eyes off these heroes until the very end." I have no intention to. Trust me, I have no intention to. Ryo Kamayo Juro himself winds up saying, Kiramager has wrapped up its TV series filming the other day. It was fun being able to go head to head with Juro this past year. I'm happy to have met everyone as well as Juro. I hope Kiramager continues to be a series loved by everyone. Look forward to the final episode. And I do agree with that. I do think that Kiramager will continue to be a series that is loved by everyone. I just feel like anybody that watches this really has nothing but really great things to certainly say about Kiramager. It has a great mood. It just hits you the right way with all the feels, all the great messaging and things like that. And I love the fact that he says it was fun to be able to go head to head with Juro this past year. I'm assuming that he's referring to I'm assuming just the idea of him having to grasp his character, if you will. Let's see here. This is from Tommy Tomo, the gentleman that plays Tommy Tomo, Rui Kahara. He says, "This past year, with hard work, we reached our goals through good and bad times." Yeah, tell me about it. "The fact that we were able to reach the end is a miracle made happen by everyone who loves the series. Please continue to cheer for us until the finale." I definitely will, man. But I love the fact that he posts up the idea that they understood all the hard work that they had to go through the good and bad times. Like, I can't even imagine just what it was like to be on set and having to kind of deal with some of the frustrations of COVID and having to kind of battle through all of that. This one is from Yumi Shinjo, who played Sina, the Green Ranger. Man, she's got a lot to say. She says, "Because the state of emergency, filming was halted and the event was canceled. A lot has happened, but we were able to safely finish filming. It makes me happy to know that we'll be able to give everyone the final episode. This is all thanks to the staff, the Kiramager members, and everyone who has supported us this past year." Yo, shout out to Yumi here for giving everybody who worked so hard on this series a shout out, because just thinking about not only just the cast members, but the people behind the cameras, the executive producers, people that had to kind of make sure all this went smoothly despite everything that happened during the pandemic. I do love that she shouted them out. It was fun, and at the same time, I feel sad. I want to thank Ryoko Gomi, the suit actor who played Green, who I'm so close to, and Kenji Akabane, who voices Mashin Mach. Oh, that's awesome. And I also want to thank Sina, who's bright, cheerful, and full of smiles. Her smile has saved me so many times this year. That's cool to kind of find out, just to see how connected some of these characters truly are to their characters, and maybe even some of their own personal lessons that they wind up learning from their character throughout this season. So the fact that her own character has brought her smiles and has saved her throughout this year, I think that's awesome to hear. She says, "I love Sina. She's so cheerful and straightforward. She's stoic when it comes to track and field events." Absolutely. And sometimes rushing rushes into things, but she's full of smiles through and through and cheers everyone around her. It was a lot of fun portraying Cena. Please continue to be the sun for everyone. And Kiramagers, thank you. I love you all. The TV series hasn't finished its broadcast yet, and we'll also have G Rosso events as well as the film press. So please support us until the very end. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Atomu Kirame Blue wanted saying, going through this year with everyone is a treasure time in my youth. There are beginnings that are endings, but this sparkle will never disappear. How old is he? I'm kind of curious to know how old Shiguru, the actor that played Shiguru, certainly is. And then we've got Mio Kudo, who played Karame Pink Seo herself, just the adorable cuteness of her. She says, I'm very happy to pass this year as a Kiramager and to have made it through under these conditions. To everyone involved in this production, to everyone who has supported us, I love Kiramager with all my heart. Thank you so much. And then even Karame Silver's up in here too. He's got some things to say. I would be happy, even if it's just a little, to convey to everyone the time the six of us share together and the moments we put our hearts into. I'm grateful to everyone involved in Kiramager. Man, I gotta say, I do just see immediately just how fond everybody is, not only of each other, but definitely of their cast and crew, and really just the amazing time that they wind up having with this season. Like the fact that they are as colorful and as happy as they have been in saying their farewells, it just kind of wraps up Kiramager so beautifully in just a perfect little box as to what Kiramager really represents. I mean, I feel like these cast members themselves really do fantastic work in representing who they are on screen and for this series alone. So like them, I definitely love this series. I love these characters. And again, it's definitely going to be very difficult to certainly say farewell to a lot of them, unfortunately. But guys, Kiramager is getting to wrap up. What are your thoughts in regards to the season? How have you certainly liked it? Are you eager to certainly get to the conclusion? And what did you think about some of the farewells that we wind up getting from our Kiramager team? Definitely go ahead and let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. Man, I was trying not to get choked up a little bit there reading some of those farewells. All right, let's see here. We got two more stories for you guys, and then I'm going to jump into your guys' live viewer question. So again, if you guys do have a live viewer question, I definitely recommend you guys go ahead and start submitting them over as of right now. APlus Morphinominal at gmail.com. Again, we've got two more topics left, and then we'll be jumping into your live viewer questions. Again, APlus Morphinominal at gmail.com. With that out of the way, guys, let's go ahead and jump into more Tokusatsu talk here, as we wind up having ourselves a Rysoulger movie trailer that wind up dropping this past week. I believe there was a Kiramager trailer that might have dropped also. We've kind of already been seeing glimpses of this. We got that triple Ranger sort of event that's going to be dropping, but they got three big movies that are going to be coming out. The Zenkaiger movie, which is kind of going to be played out as an episode 0, if you will. We also have a Kiramager movie, and we also have a Rysoulger movie, all of which are dropping February 20th, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we do get ourselves, February 20th. They're dropping the same day as Dino Fury. Very nice. So I am going to keep my fingers crossed that within that 2-week period that somebody drops maybe some of the English subbed versions of these movies. But if not, we'll have to do without it. But I'll definitely keep my fingers crossed. But we recently did just get ourselves a Rysoulger trailer. So I wanted to highlight that just a little bit for you guys also. This one is a brand new one. It's about a minute long or so. Yeah, it's about a minute long or so. But I love getting the opportunity to see this cast back together, honestly. Getting to see the return of Nada look super impactful, super important to me. I wish that they had an English version. Damn, she kicked his ass all the way across the thing. Clearly gathering up some dark energy. We see Rysoulger along with Crayon certainly back. And Nada in here also. I'm assuming he's going to be calling upon maybe the Gaisorg. Ooh, look at that battle there. Maybe he's going to be calling upon the Gaisorg armor, or maybe he's got brand new armor in here, all of its own. I'm not quite sure. I don't even know how Nada is even returning in here, to be perfectly honest with you. So for me, I'll be interested to see how he is incorporated into this. But I've loved what I'm seeing so far in regards to this first. There you go, the Super Sentai Ranger movie 2021. That's going to be dropping for them. But yeah, that was in fact the Rysoulger trailer that we wind up getting. For me, I think for me, I am really fascinated to see how emotional this movie is going to be. While Nada wasn't around really long when it comes to Rysoulger, his impact on the team was really felt for the remainder of the season. It felt very much like Ko had a very heavy heart at times, utilizing maybe some of that heaviness and that missing of Nada to really fuel a lot of his anger, a lot of his passion, to fighting even harder for the Rysoulgers, especially with Nada sort of handing down that power up, if you will, for that Max Ryosol Red. And just really the impact, again, the impact that he wound up leaving on this team. So I do feel going into this movie, it will be very heartfelt. It will be a very emotional ride for a lot of these characters, to see just Nada a part of the team again in some capacity. So I look really forward to it. The action looks great. The return of Weisel and Crayon certainly has me excited. So I am kind of curious to see how this fits into the bigger scope of things for this particular team. But the poster looks great. I'm looking really forward to really all these movies. Honestly, I wouldn't say that the Rysoulger movie is my most anticipated one. It's probably the Kiramager movie for me as of right now. Rysoulger is probably maybe the last, just because of the taste that it left in my mouth after I finished it. But I can't lie that the idea of a returning Nada and maybe the returning Geistwerk armor does entice me for sure. It definitely does entice me. I am curious as to who that female was that wind up kicking homeboy the Green Ranger all the way across the city, it looked like, or at least into some of the dining tables that they had placed outside. I am kind of curious as to who she is, because it definitely feels as though she might play a significant role, because we did see her at least 2 times in this trailer alone. So I'm wondering if she's like a supporting character for this movie. But we'll wind up seeing, guys. We'll wind up seeing if any of these movies do wind up having English subs before Zenkaiger winds up releasing, or regardless, once they do have English sub, we will in fact be doing reviews for you guys. So definitely go ahead and look forward to that. All right, guys, that will do it for our Rysoulger talk. But the last Tokusatsu I want to get into for you guys today, Zenkaiger is right around the corner, man. We're less than a month away. Not necessarily less than a month, but we're about a month away from Zenkaiger wind up dropping. You know, we've been keeping you guys posted on a ton of Zenkaiger scans that have come this way. We've been highlighting you guys on character descriptions over the past couple of months. We've been doing a really great job of building up towards this season. And one of the things that kind of left me scratching my head a little bit was, where are the villains? Like, we've been hearing about the villains for a while, but we haven't really been seeing too much. You know, they really have been promoting the idea and the concept of this unique team, you know, 1 human, 4 robots. How the fuck will this work, right? That's kind of how they've been promoting Zenkaiger. And it seems as though maybe some of the villains themselves had kind of been pushed off on the back burner a little bit. But this week, or this past week, I should say, I think maybe the end of January, beginning of February, we get to see a brand new look at some of these particular new villains here. So let's go ahead and highlight some of these members here and who the Zenkaiger team is in fact going to be facing. So this information comes to us from tokunation.com, ladies and gentlemen, and they also have some photos here. So let me go ahead and pull up this photo. So the article itself says the villains for the 45th Super Sentai series Zenkaiger have been finally revealed. This is the evil dynasty Toji Tendo, whose goal is to eliminate all other realities from existence. The dynasty has already conquered the land of Kikaitopia, the home to the 4 of the Zenkaigers, and rules the once peaceful land with absolute cruelty. So that is in fact the evil dynasty Toji Tendo. And here are, in fact, some of the characters. Homeboy right here. This is a little bit hard to make out. When I first looked at it, I had to really focus. But it says the great leader of the Toji Tendo. His name is Bokkawas, Boccowaus, Bokkawaus. I have no idea. It says a silver entity fused with a wall. His orders are law, and he shows no mercy. Bokkawas will be voiced by Tokusatsu veteran Joji Nakata. Bokkawas. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce his name. Bokkawas. Again, you guys know I butcher names around here. I don't mean to, but I do butcher names around here trying to pronounce this. But it looks like if you look, you can see his head clearly. You can see even his hand kind of protruding from the wall. But the rest of his body, like that big silver piece, that's a big, like, just wall ornament. Just something, just like an ornate piece on his wall. And then he also has a little bird, which looks to be chilling kind of on his shoulder, just kind of like in this little nook in the wall. It's a really interesting and fascinating design for a character that we don't get the opportunity to see his body. But again, this feels like this is another villain who's kind of giving orders more or less than actually getting his hands dirty. You want to talk about a villain with mobility? Yeah, this is like no mobility. Like, homeboy's literally stuck in the middle of this wall. I kind of dig the design, though. I really do dig the design, and I really would like to see when it does come down to sort of the final battle, how is this certainly going to play out? What is his final form certainly going to be? But again, this is the great leader of Toji Tendo. His name is Bokkawas, a silver entity fused with a wall. His orders are law, and he shows no mercy. So I thought that was fascinating. Our next person that we have up here, let's see if I can go ahead and pull him up here. The field commander of the Toji Tendo is Bara Sitara. A brutal warrior thrilled at the chance to invade new worlds. Bari Sitara is voiced by Kenji Nomoru, another Tokusatsu veteran. So again, this is the field commander, Bari Sitara, a brutal warrior thrilled at the chance to invade brand new worlds. He almost reminds me of like another Tank Joe, almost, right? I mean, homeboy looks like a tank. He's got the armored legs. He even looks like he's got the tracks going up his legs. He's got the rocket launcher on his head. Hell, he's got the rocket in as a staff in his hand. So there are elements to Tank Joe, minus the castle design, if you will, but definitely feels like he has a tank design to him for sure. Rounding out the Toji Tendo is our next one here in Izilde. Izilde, Izilde, Izild, I don't know. It says the scientist who steals technology from every world the dynasty conquers. It says Izild is voiced by Masanori Takeda. So yeah, this is Izild, the scientist of the group, who steals technology from every world the dynasty conquers. I don't know why when I see this guy, I think of two things. I think of the Machine Empire for some reason, and I definitely feel like I'm watching an evil version of Johnny Five from Short Circuit here. I don't know why I get the Johnny Five vibes. Johnny Five's alive. I don't know why I get those vibes. I don't know if it's like his legs. It looks like he's just on a track too, almost like a tank in a sense. Like homeboy just rolls around maybe with his upper body portion that can kind of move around. I'm not quite sure, but I definitely do get like Machine Empire vibes and Short Circuit vibes when I see Izilde here. So we'll see. So those are in fact the main characters from the evil dynasty Toji Tendo. Again, we've got our main character here in Bokkawas. We also have Bari Sitara, and then we have Izilde right here. If you guys are wondering who this bird is, this is Bokkawa's closest subordinate is his bird, Gigi. His name is Gigi. who hates all non-Toji Tendo life. What a racist. Gigi is portrayed by singer and actor Tatsuhishi. Hold on, I destroyed that name. Tatsuhisa Suzuki. So that is, in fact, Gigi, who hates all non-Toji Tendo life. So I'm assuming that he's just going to be just perched on Homeboy's shoulder all episode long, maybe some wisecracking, some sarcastic remarks, maybe, I'm looking forward to it. The design of him being a crow, I love it. I think that fits perfectly with the idea of a villain. They also did release another photo. This is not a villain, though. Another bird counterpart. Finally, a new ally for the Zenkaigers has also been revealed. This robot bird is named Sichin. We have highlighted Sichin before in our character breakdown video for Zenkaiger. You can go ahead and find that on our YouTube page if you'd like to. But we have focused on Sichin a little bit. But this is a robot bird, once a toy belonging to Zenkaiger himself in Kato, the main character. Sichin possesses tremendous knowledge on the history of Super Sentai. So if we're looking for our resident Super Sentai information, this is the person to go to, Sichin. It says he is going to be voiced by actress Masato Fukuin. And I believe Sichin is also a toy that maybe his parents actually might have given to Kato as well. So we'll see if there's, we'll definitely see how that kind of plays into things also. So yeah, a couple more photos there for you guys. A little bit more focus on the evil dynasty, Toji Tendo. I'm kind of curious to know what you guys think in regards to some of the brand new reveals, the cast, or I should say the photos, some of the designs for the characters, if you will. But I'm really fascinated to see what they have up their sleeves for Zenkaiger. I thought I read somewhere also that Zenkaiger's family who gives him Sichin as a toy when he's a kid. I feel like I read somewhere that they go missing after discovering the idea of other dimensions or other worlds out there. So I am wondering if they are missing, if that's like an added mystery to this particular season. That because of the fact that they're both scientists, they discovered something maybe they weren't supposed to discover, and I felt like they were missing from what I remember reading in the character descriptions. I am curious if that's going to be an added element to this season also. But guys, again, I want to know your levels of excitement when it comes to this particular season of Zenkaiger. March 7th will in fact be the release date for that. So we're inching very closely, guys. 2 weeks until Dino Fury, and then another 2 weeks for Zenkaiger. It's a great time to be a Power Ranger and Tokusatsu fan right now, to be perfectly honest with you. This time during the year always gets me hyped. I feel like there's a plethora of information out there for us to definitely jump on board with and get excited about. Let's see here. All right. I think other than that, guys, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for us in regards to all of the news that we wind up having this week in regards to you. So I hope you guys definitely enjoyed all the stuff that we went over today. And let me go ahead and dive into some of your guys' live viewer questions. And we'll certainly go ahead and wrap up this show for you guys. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Have I missed anything on Twitter? If anything big has happened on Twitter while I've been going live, somebody keep me posted in case there's like any big reveals that wind up dropping. Let's see here. All right, so I'm gonna go to aplusmorphinominal.com. We have quite a few questions today. I might actually not make it to the comments section later. Then we'll see how quickly we can get through some of these questions for you guys, and then we'll go ahead and answer what you guys responded with. Let's see. Jessica Friedman's got a couple questions. Hey Adam, do you think we'll get a team up episode this year or a cameo for a past Dino Ranger? And you think past Rangers are still fighting the good fight? I do think that past Rangers are still fighting the good fight. I really do. Going back and watching Gokaiger again does make me kind of wish that all of this, when it comes to Power Rangers, was under one gigantic continuity. Or at least I should say, I wish that more seasons kind of took place all within the same dimension. There is something really fun about watching Zenkaiger and Super Sentai and knowing that they're all pretty much, or majority of them are all on the same earth, that they all recognize one another. Majority of them all know of the past characters that came before them, if you will, right? The idea of understanding your history, um, and the people that kind of came before you, like there is something really impactful about that, and just getting the opportunity to see those past Rangers still fighting the good fight, or at least helping influence the new team and helping teach them a little bit. I love that element. So when it comes to Power Rangers, I do think that some of the past Rangers are still fighting the good fight in their own way, or another. Do I think we'll get a team up episode this year? I don't know if we're gonna get a team up episode this year, as we might get maybe some like individual cameos. And either way, I would be perfectly okay, because I feel like even when Dino Fury was announced, even if we're not, I don't know if we're gonna get the concept and idea of mentors. I don't know if we're gonna get connections to anything else. But I would love to. One of the things that I always said was it would be cool if we just sprinkled in cameos from past Dino seasons, whether that be a whole team or just one member of the team that's kind of willing to kind of come back to kind of maybe pass along a power or pass along a lesson, or whatever the case may be. I really would like to see something like that. So I'm hoping that we get a cameo. I'm keeping my expectations really low though when it comes to that, just because Simon Bennett has kind of warned us. But I do think that they have something in store for us. I just don't know how big or grand it's certainly going to be, but I do think we'll get a cameo. I definitely do think we'll get some surprises. I just don't know who they have planned as of yet. A quick shout out to George Kazakos. What's up, George? Appreciate you coming through and making it for our segment here. Let's see here. Marcelino Vasquez has a question also. Did you know that Greg Aronowitz, the man in charge of SPD, wanted the Dino Thunder Rangers to be clones in the Dino Thunder team up? Ooh, interesting. He chose clones over time travel because he wanted to add more tension to the story. Disney said no because they thought the kids wouldn't understand cloning, and that they wouldn't feel attached to the characters if they were clones. Which Ultraman series would you recommend for beginners like me? Well, I will say this. When it comes to Ultraman series, I have not watched Ultraman at all. If I had to recommend, just because of some of the things that I have heard, I would recommend for a beginner though. See, for a beginner, I don't know. I really don't know, Marcelino, because I was going to suggest Ultraman Z, the new series that wind up just dropping. It looks fantastic. Production looks great. I know that comes in English subs. I was also going to suggest the Netflix anime series that they did for Ultraman in very CG form, if you will. I don't know how those are good jumping off points for beginners, though. But for me as a beginner, I was just going to dive right into Ultraman Z myself and see how I took to the series. So, I mean, maybe if you want to check out comic books too, I know Marvel just started a Rise of the Ultraman comic book series. So maybe you could, as a beginner, maybe dabble into the comic books a little bit more. But those would be my 3 suggestions. I don't know if they're good for beginners, but for me, I was going to jump into Ultraman Z, and I did tackle personally the Netflix series, which I enjoyed. How do you feel if there was a future Power Ranger episode that has no fighting and instead focused on character development and or story? I'm for it. I'm for it. I don't think we need to have an action piece every week, but that's just become the formula of Power Rangers, how you tell Power Rangers, maybe when we get into something like a Jonathan Entwistle sort of led series, maybe we will get moments like that, right? Where you get episodes that are devoted to more drama, character, storytelling than actual action pieces, like for me, I don't see the problem in building up a couple of episodes to a great payoff. When I think of going back to Netflix, when I look at the Voltron animated series, for instance, right? You know, the formula, I felt like when you watch the Voltron cartoon series, very much like when you watch Power Rangers, you have your story and you have your Beast or your villain battle at the very end. But what they did with the Netflix series for Voltron was, we didn't get ourselves a Voltron fight battle the first episode. Hell, we maybe not even got it like the second episode. At least I will say this, you didn't get it every episode. They pulled out Voltron when it was absolutely necessary and absolutely needed to happen. And you spent a lot of that other time building up the characters. So no, I don't think that you need a fight episode every episode. So if they did have an episode that was just focusing on story, I would be perfectly okay with it, especially if I know that the buildup for that is going to come either in the second part or the third part of the story that you're telling, and then give us an action sequence. I think sometimes the buildup is really what you need to have a very epic sort of battle to really show more emphasis on what's at risk or what's at stake, if you will. So nothing wrong with build up to some of those battles. So I would be okay with it. During your Making Bad review, how come you only mentioned Lord Zed's voice being redubbed, but you didn't mention the other past villains had bad redubbed voices as well? P.S. The reason why the past villains had bad redubbed voices was because they either had to do it with actor rights or audio quality of past episodes. Yeah, I am curious as to why. I am knowledgeable as to why they had to certainly do it, especially after the fact of watching the episode. The reason to me why I only mention Lord Zed's voice is because, to me, that's one of the most iconic voices in all of Power Rangers, right? So for me, while I have watched the Power Rangers series and stuff, and I see other people's voices, I'm like, okay, yeah, is it bad? Yeah, they're all bad. They're all bad. But when it comes to Lord Zed, the head, like, badass villain of all that is Power Rangers, he just grabs your attention, just absolutely, like, he just comes off the screen more. So for me, that's the one that really just jumped out at me, like, whoa. Whoa, because his voice alone is iconic, whereas I don't necessarily know. You might recognize some of the voices, right? But I wouldn't say some of the other voices for the villains were as iconic as that of Lord Zed. So that's why I brought up Lord Zed voices only, because it was just a stark reality of, like, God, that's bad, bro. Like, oof, that was rough. It was rough. What was your reaction when you found out that Chip Lin wanted to incorporate more storytelling into Ninja Steel, but was forced to include the bad comedy? Was my reaction nothing? I was not surprised. I mean, it's Saban, right? He's not only been a penny pincher, but he's also been a storytelling pincher. In regards to being really tight with how much he wants to spend on a series and how much he actually wants Power Rangers to tell stories. He really handcuffed Ninja Steel for sure. There's a great story by, was it Nico, who played Calvin, about how him and the Pink Ranger, how they, clearly they had a relationship with one another on the show, but they even had a kissing sequence or a kissing scene that we were supposed to get in Ninja Steel that was pulled. And I believe they actually might have leaked that shot of them kissing one another. And Nico talks about the idea of how bummed he was that they pulled it from the show, because of the fact that they worked really hard for their chemistry for that moment on screen. They had already been building up in the storyline of them having a breakup, if you will. And that was going to be its resolution, if you will. So when I hear stories like that, nothing surprises me about Ninja Steel, especially the idea of being creatively handcuffed from being able to do what you want, which is why when you watch something like a Beast Morphers, while it's definitely not mature or for adult audiences, you can tell that they are at least pushing the limits to what they can tell. Like Beast Morphers, we would never have gotten that from Saban. Let's make no mistake. We would not probably have not gotten half the stuff that we got from Beast Morphers if it was completely ran by Saban at the end of the day. So my reaction, I wasn't surprised. It's a very Saban thing to do, unfortunately. That's why I'm very glad that he no longer has possession of the franchise anymore. I feel like I love Saban, don't get me wrong, and super thankful for what he has provided for us. You know what I mean? It's the George Lucas effect. The creator, thank you. The creator, thank you, Saban. We appreciate all you've done for us, right? I mean, he molded my childhood, right? From Mighty Morphin all the way to In Space, and going on and on. Lost Galaxy, maybe, I can't remember. In Space, whatever case may be. Just the idea of the culmination, the coming around, the whole entire storylines. Amazing stuff. Loved it. Disney era did their fantastic thing also. But when he gets it back to the Neo Saban era, it's almost like he completely forgot how to do Power Rangers. And I can't even necessarily say this to compare him to George Lucas in a sense. Like, at least George Lucas, when he came back for the prequels, at least the storyline ideas were there, even though the execution certainly wasn't. He definitely was not the same George that he was prior, if you will. And Saban definitely wasn't the same Saban that he was prior also. So it was a good idea, I think, for him to kind of let go of this series a little bit and let other people kind of see what they can kind of do with it, honestly. So we'll see what Hasbro has in store for us. This next question comes from Ram Jam. He says, "Hey Adam, hope you're doing well. Hoping you're having a great weekend. A great weekend, man. Great weekend so far. With Netflix removing all the Power Ranger seasons, excluding MMPR, what are your thoughts of only one season of MMPR being on Netflix and season 2 and 3 being removed?" Guys, Ram Jam, I'm so glad you brought this up. I did not know that. I did not know that. I don't want to say I didn't know that until today, until I read this, but I did not know when they originally stated, hey, Power Rangers is going to be taken off of Netflix come the end of January 31st. I mean, damn, we talked about this here, right? Guys, get in your Power Ranger binging before the series is gone, because before you know it, it's going to be gone. What's up, Yusai? Appreciate you coming through, man. Thank you very much. I'm Ugly also says, please give a moment of silence for JDF, who just had his grandfather's funeral yesterday, 2 years after losing his mom. That's terrible. Yeah, I did see JDF holding a casket with a couple of other people in his family, I would assume. So yeah, rest in peace, man. Definitely going to send out some prayers and wishes your way. But thank you for bringing that to our attention. But getting back to your question, Ram Jam, yeah. So majority of all of Power Rangers is taken off of Netflix. All we have is Ninja Steel. What we have left of Beast Morphers, and now I was definitely under the impression that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, all of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was gonna stay on board for Netflix. That's not the case. I literally checked a couple days ago, come to find out that only season 1 is up there. Alien Rangers are gone. Man, guys, everything is gone. That's a bit of a bummer, bro. I can't even lie. Like, as a Power Ranger fan, I don't even know how to react to that. The only thing that I can say towards that is a couple of things. And my first reaction is I'm immediately bummed, right? I'm just a believer that Power Rangers as a franchise should be available somewhere for people to have easy access to. Even Ryan Parrott, the writer for Power Rangers, the Power Ranger comic books in Boom Studios, even he referenced the idea like, well, that's less source material that I have now. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that Hasbro has, like, first off, I'm surprised that Hasbro hasn't showered this man with Shout Factory DVDs or like physical media copies or whatever the case may be. I find that absurd, to be perfectly honest with you. But not only from a creative point of view, but just the idea of having your content out there and available for new people to fall into and start watching, if you will. This for me, this feels more like Hasbro trying to really put its focus on what it just wants people to focus on going forward. The emphasis that MMPR for them is going to be the standard kind of going forward. Like when I think of this to me tells us that, look, if we're about to reimagine and reboot this universe, if we want to make connections to the past, really the only main series that we're going to focus on making connections to, that we're going to pay attention to, is going to be MMPR. That for you to really be kind of caught up, or to know what we're trying to do in this reboot and a reimagining, really the only series that we need you to fully focus on and pay attention to is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And so maybe they don't necessarily want those other series as distractions as of right now until they build up. We've heard from the idea of the Power Ranger movie alone that it might be going back to MMPR theme, right? I've speculated the idea here that the next group that we get might be a new team of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, that if they do hold on to attributes of a time traveling element, of taking kids from the present or whoever from the present and throwing them into the past to the 90s, making that immediate connection with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I can see something of the MMPR team and powers being passed along to this new generation to now carry on what we have for Power Rangers. And I think Hasbro, by doing that, might be trying to tell us, hey, really the only series that you need to focus on in order to really get on board with this new reboot and reimagining is in fact MMPR. And that's the only season we really want you to focus on. If you truly want to know more about what has happened in this franchise prior to it, not that it's not important, but MMPR clearly is their main focus. But if you want to be able to know more about this franchise and other iterations of different teams that came after, you might have to do your own research, right? You might have to truly do your own digging. But maybe this is an attempt for Hasbro to really refocus people on what they feel kind of matters in regards to Power Rangers and where they're taking the franchise. That's one of the things that come to my head as to why they're kind of making this move. It also could be the idea that, again, I've heard this from the Illuminati on their live streams. I've heard this from, I think maybe Heirloom might have. I can't remember if Heirloom posted this. But the idea of, I definitely heard it from the Illuminati talking about the idea that maybe just the revenue of the revenue that they were getting from past seasons was nowhere near what they were getting from MMPR. Maybe it was costing them more to have these other Ranger series on their site than it was to have MMPR. Like, maybe Mighty Morphin was making Netflix money. You know what I mean? Like, maybe despite the fact that as Power Ranger fans, we want to be able to go back whenever we want to check out some of these other seasons. Maybe they didn't renew their contract because while we do go back and dabble, maybe those other seasons just are not getting the viewerships that Netflix certainly wants. And so maybe now Hasbro is either forced to take its content elsewhere, put it someplace on its own where it's easier for them to gain revenue from their own content instead of having to either license it out or pay somebody to put it up, whatever the case may be. I am wondering if at the end of the day, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is their money bag, and I get the idea of people being tired of MMPR, but when it's what the general public recognizes as Power Rangers, if they are getting a ton of views, when majority of their views might be going to MMPR over the other ones, it maybe just doesn't make sense to kind of keep those other series around, especially if they're not going to have as much impact into what you're rebooting or reimagining as MMPR certainly would. You know what I mean? So like when I talk about the idea of like, man, I would love to see I would love to see this new reimagine or reboot not forget about its past, still reference things in the past. I could still see them referencing things in MMPR. They may just not get as deep as, say, like Time Force or Remember This from Wild Force type of thing, right? I think they probably will go back to making references that the general public certainly might be aware of or at least know from big moments in MMPR. So I'm kind of wondering if this is them trying to change the change the narrative, if you will. Shadow Nova says, I think MMPR will end up being their downfall, to be honest. I mean, you might be right, Shadow Nova. But I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting to see if it'll be the downfall of them, because people in the fandom some people might be tired of MMPR, but if it's a focus on MMPR that the general public know, and they can make it appealing and they can make it look fantastic, right? It may not necessarily be the biggest downfall that you think that it is, that it might be. I think it just really just depends on what your perspective is of MMPR. If you're somebody that's tired of it, yeah, you'll probably think it's a negative aspect for them to tackle that. But if you ask me, I think you lean maybe heavily into MMPR because of the fact that that's the team that you guys recognize. I think more people would be attracted to the idea of Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers returning for another season, compared to the idea of a brand new Power Rangers season that nobody's ever heard of, and a bunch of other teams for the past 27 years that nobody's ever heard of, and not being able to attract those big fans. So I think it's a balancing act. I do think it's a balancing act. See, JB says what? Says, as big of a fan as I am, MMPR would lose me. Alexis says, I'm so sick of MMPR. See, so there definitely are some people out there that definitely don't want them to focus on it. But I laugh when people say that, because you haven't seen a damn thing that they've done yet. You know what I mean? They could literally reboot and re-energize MMPR in a way that we honestly have never expected it to be. And yet, we have this mindset. So listen, you're certainly allowed, you're certainly your own opinion for sure. But I'm just showcasing the idea that there are people out there that don't like the idea of maybe Hasbro maybe leaning into MMPR. Again, this is just me speculating. This is me just throwing out some ideas as to why we're only getting MMPR up there, and the direction that I think that they certainly might be going. We'll see if that winds up happening, though. But again, I think as fans, I think we need to also start understanding the idea of we're not the only people they're trying to appeal to and appease to. We have to be open-minded also, that they want to try new things, not only to appeal to us as fans, but also the general public. If we as fans truly want Power Rangers to become bigger than what it is, we have to be a little bit more open-minded to some of the risks that Hasbro is certainly going to take in order to certainly do that. Again, we haven't seen scripts. We haven't seen ideas. We haven't seen characters. We haven't seen format. We don't know what they're going to give us as of yet. So let's not crap on the idea fully yet. Let's see how the execution to all this certainly is. But it should be an interesting one. It should be an interesting one. But thank you for bringing that up, Ram Jam. I got on. He had two more questions I didn't even get a chance to get to yet, man. I'm sorry, Ram Jam. What do you think of the new images of Dino Fury? I love them. I think the cast looks great. They all look enthusiastic to certainly be there. The Zato antennas are throwing me off a little bit, but other than that, I'm excited to kind of see what they have in store for us. For me, out of all the photos, though, that really jump out to me, the original character really jumps out at me. I want to know what his connection is to the story, his connection to Mick. Did they become buddy, if you will, during Mick's travels, or Mick coming to this team? Who certainly knows. But I really want to see more of it. I want to see what that character's role is certainly going to play. But I thought the photos were great, really great tease to let us into the season. Your last question says, if Zenkaiger was to be adapted into Power Rangers, how do you think they would do it? Because Zenkaiger is based on Aqua Ranger and Big One. I was thinking you would have to design different Rangers. He would have to either be a combo of either White Ranger, Red, or Green Ranger. What do you think? No, I don't think you have to go fully out of your way to completely adapt it. There are aspects of the costumes you would have to adapt. just based off of the characters that we have alone already in Zenkaiger, all those are characters that we have explored before in past Power Rangers seasons. So that the Kinkainoids, I don't think you would have to really change too much, but there are things you would have to change. Absolutely. Because they have a lot of Super Sentai symbols on them. The Sentai gears you would have to redesign. This is what we talked about before. Can Zenkaiger be adapted? Absolutely. Absolutely. Will it be easy? No. You would have to redesign some of the costume designs, not fully, but some of them. And by costume designs, maybe removing the numbers on them, maybe even removing the Super Sentai V that's on their belt buckles and things like that. If you can recreate some of the designs without those symbols, you can make it work. You can absolutely make it work. Sentai gears you would have to redesign. Again, a lot of money. You would have to put money towards it for sure. But can it be done? Absolutely. Will they do it? We'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. Watermelon Head. What's up, Watermelon Head? A couple questions. What did you think made Power Rangers so successful after the first episode of Mighty Morphin? And do you think any other TV show had a chance to have that same popularity on a global scale? I mean, if you're talking about the format of Power Rangers, like how Power Rangers is formatted, do I think any other TV show has a chance to have that same popularity? Probably not. No, I think I mean, no, like if it's like Power Rangers, probably not. I think Power Rangers jumped on at a fantastic time when there was nothing else like it on TV. At least here in the States. So I think that's definitely what made it so huge on a popularity and global scale. You know, at this point in time, anything that kind of tries to come out that looks similar like it, I think is just going to be just compared to Power Rangers. So it may not get off the ground like that. I mean, you could look at things like Marvel and stuff like that. I mean, you know, comic book wise, I mean, they clearly went out and did their own thing, but that was definitely more movie based instead of actually television wise. So I don't see the same popularity and global scale happening again. I think if anything, maybe Power Rangers can become popular in mainstream, but that's probably as close as it'll get. As far as what I think made Power Rangers so successful after the first episode, again, I think it was just unlike anything that. Oh, I am ugly says. I am Watermelon Head. By the way, I changed my name. I liked Watermelon Head, man. I liked Watermelon Head. But yeah, I just don't think it's definitely just not a season. It was just nothing like we had seen before. You know, I was a big fan in martial arts growing up as a kid. I think I might have just gotten introduced to like Jackie Chan, Rumble in the Bronx. I don't know if they came around the same time or not, but I just remember I was big into the idea of kung fu and martial arts. But the idea of big megazords and these high schoolers turning into superheroes and stuff like that type of stuff just was not done on television back in the 90s. And the fact that they were managed to really find something that worked was incredible. And you know, it was something new and brand new because of the fact that not only did parents have the hardest time trying to find these damn toys during Christmas time, but there was pushback. There was pushback for Power Rangers, it being too violent and things like that. You know, I think they even had to start putting like PSAs in the beginning or at the end of Power Rangers. The idea of like, don't try this at home type of stuff, or you know, we're the stunt coordinator or what. I don't remember what it was, but I felt like as I started getting further into Power Rangers, they had to make those warnings or type of things. You know. But yeah, I just think it was just its uniqueness and great action and great characters. What do you think Megaforce and Super Steel were? Why do you think Megaforce and Ninja Steel were very bad seasons? Do you think too much hype or not enough care by the writers? I don't think it was too much hype. Maybe Megaforce. First off, I think Megaforce shot itself in the foot by wanting to be too many things at once. The ability to cram Goseiger and Gokaiger into two shortened seasons and just mash them into one, I think was a really big mistake on their part. I feel as though Megaforce should have had its own season or two, and then transitioned over into something related for Gokaiger for Pirates. So I think already doing too much in one season was definitely the downfall of Megaforce. That's just one of the things. For both seasons, I definitely do think, I don't necessarily know if it was not enough care of the writers per se, if it was a combination of writers and Saban, maybe not having enough effort from the writers. Maybe when effort was put in from the writers, you had somebody like Saban that was like chopping down ideas and trying to keep this stuff as PG related as possible, right? I feel like Neo Saban era is the era for 4 to 6 year olds that we hear people like Simon Bennett and talking to the idea of how they're writing towards kids now. That mentality, make no mistake, I feel like has just come from Neo Saban eras, honestly. And so I do think that that's certainly what hindered it. It's a culmination of everything, but I do think it's a little bit of all that as to why they it didn't succeed. When the Psycho Rangers first appeared in Power Rangers in Space, did you expect them to be so menacing and have some of the best arcs in the entire franchise? And do you wish we could have Evil Rangers again, even if it has nothing to do with Super Sentai series? Currently, yeah, I love Evil Rangers. I do. More Evil Rangers, honestly, bring them on. I just love the idea of the Rangers having somebody that's just as formidable, just as powerful. Usually with a pretty intense or fascinating storyline, really pushing them to their limits. There's something super fascinating about it that I absolutely love. So yeah, I do love that. And yeah, Psycho Rangers definitely left an impression on me, especially from In Space. I do love how they've kind of popped up from time to time, really clearly making an impact from when they were on In Space to people wanting to utilize them again and certainly bring them back, whether that be in the form of television or even in the comic books. I mean, Boom Studios made some great comics highlighting them, whether that be in the Mighty Morphin series, whether that be in their own sort of graphic novel. They definitely have left their impact. So I love the Psycho Rangers. So if we can get more of villains like that, bring them on. Bring them on. Let's see here. Dino Real Soul Fury. So yeah, guys, if anything, I'm probably gonna do these live viewer questions and then we'll wrap up. From time to time, I may just jump into some of your comments that like we are now. Yeah, I'm probably gonna just end off with live viewer questions because we are almost going on to 2 hours and 30 minutes, and I still got more questions from you guys here. So let's see here. Did you know that Hurricaneger, aka Ninja Storm, was based on Zyuranger, aka Mighty Morphin Power Rangers? The power discs looked very similar to Power Coins. Both shows were a decade apart, where Zyuranger came in 92. The Green Rangers were very similar. Now, when you say that, is have you read information about that? Because what you're saying here is you're making comparisons, right? I don't necessarily know if making comparisons is Hurricaneger was based off of Zyuranger. You know what I mean? That's not the same. Like, I am curious, like, if you've read that somewhere, if the Zyuranger production crew or writing staff or whatever, if they said, you know what, we really molded, or Hurricaneger, we really molded our season to be similar to that of Zyuranger, or based off of Zyuranger, then yeah. But the idea of it just being similar, that doesn't mean that it's based off of it. It's just taking similarities, but it doesn't mean it's based off of it. Just coincidence or similarities. So unless Hurricaneger and people actually came out and said, yeah, we really wanted to base our series off of Zyuranger, that's why we did all this. Other than that, it's just coincidence and comparisons. What do you think made Power Rangers so popular and a huge hit after? What did you just copy? How did you know somebody else put that question in? How did you guys both come up with that same question? That's crazy to me. We already answered that. So now that we have pictures and release dates of Dino Fury and finally a trailer, what do you hope we get in the first episode? And do you think the writers will handle Mick better this time, like not having him give out moral of the day and talking down to the Rangers like children? I'm so excited. I really liked Mick. Mick was actually one of the better parts for me in Ninja Steel, just because of Kelson's just experience. I mean, when he's on screen, you can just tell a vet is on screen, you know, somebody that knows Power Rangers, knows how to project themselves, knows how to act. No, you know what I'm saying? Like I never felt like he was a one-time, first-time person on a Power Rangers series, not knowing how to perform or anything like that. So I do think it's always important to get that sort of veteran on your team that can help maybe elevate even some of the performances from the rest of your cast that's there. It didn't necessarily work all the time for Ninja Steel, but for me, Mick was, for me at least, one of the bright spots. One of the bright spots. As far as what I expect in the first episode, I don't know if I'm expecting Izzy and Javi. I'm wondering if the first episode will just be Zato, Ali, and Amelia. And then maybe episode 2 we'll get the opportunity to see the rest of the team come in. I mean, the fact that he's talking, the description's already talking about the idea of working as a team. Maybe they do pop up by the end of episode number 1, everybody. So I don't know. The only thing I'm basing that off of is just how they revealed the cast announcements. You guys remember when we had the Hasbro PulseCon, we only got introduced to the first 3, and some of the speculation as to why we didn't get the other 2 is because maybe they're coming in a little bit later during the season. So that's really the only reason why I was speculating that. But I would be interested to see if they come in episode number 1 or not. I am wondering if we're going to get a mentor. I'm wondering if the mentor for the season is going to be Mick, right? Maybe they can't necessarily do mentors like they certainly would. So you bring somebody else in that might fit, and you bring in Mick, who, again, Kelson, like you guys mentioned, was in New Zealand. So maybe it was easier for them to write him in that way. Who knows? Dino Real Soul does clarify. Yeah, similarities. More of an homage to Zoo Ranger. Yeah, that definitely seems more fitting, man. Let's see here. Johnny Marrero. Johnny's got a couple questions. Johnny says, what was your favorite moment from the new Dino Fury trailer? Definitely the action sequences. The wire work. The cool moves, seeing Ollie with that spin kick, Amelia with that standing sort of spinning slash, that cool, like, even Zato. I can't I'm not gonna sleep on that Zato slash with his sword, as that one slash is everything, like, kind of sort of like falls apart as he winds up slashing through it. It looked pretty badass. So that was definitely one of my favorites. Honorable mentions, while I wasn't that pleased with it's morphing time, I do love the sequence of them, at least in their positions, getting ready to morph. The special effect for the morphing changer was pretty badass. And I don't mind the design of the cockpit for the Megazord. I appreciate the formation that they're in at least a little bit better. But hopefully the lighting. Let's get the lighting up here. Turn the lights on, Simon Ben. It's like somebody flicked all the, like sometimes when you go into a room, none of the lights are on. You flip on most of the lights except for one, so you still got like that little dark vibe in there. I'm wondering if it's more for more cinematic purposes, or if somebody just forgot to turn on that extra studio light, the extra studio bulb. Who knows? But yeah, no, those are a couple of scenes that jumped out at me. Are you excited for the return of Mick from Ninja Steel? I am. Again, Mick was one of my favorite aspects of Ninja Steel, one that I really enjoyed. So the idea of having him back, I'm really fascinated to see how they're going to incorporate him, honestly, into this next season. I really want to know why Mick, of all people, right? Like, Kelson's not coming back to be another character. No, Homeboy's coming back as Mick. So how did he get there, and why? So I need answers. Do you really hope Dino Fury will feel more of the Disney era and have some elements from the Disney era seasons? Because let's be honest, those seasons were awesome. Yeah, I mean, I definitely do feel that there will be some Disney era elements into it. I don't know if it's going to be as much as some people are hoping for. I am wondering if maybe just the fight sequences or what they're bringing back from the Disney era to kind of give people that vibe, which I'm perfectly okay with. You know, you want to be able to provide everybody with a little bit of everything if you can, without neglecting what you're really here for. And maybe by bringing back Steve McQuillan, maybe this is a way for them to acknowledge, like, hey guys, we know that you were big fans of the Disney era. While we can't necessarily bring back the same storytelling, whatever the case may be, the same story writers or whatever, like, hey, here are here's something from the Disney era that you guys did certainly enjoy, that we want to go ahead and bring back for you guys. So yeah, if you're going to bring back anything from Disney era, I'm perfectly okay with it being the fight sequences. But I don't think I don't think the whole season is going to feel that way, but there will be elements that definitely do. You say justice for Scrozzle for Dino Fury. I have a feeling Javi and Izzy are going to be fan favorites like Blaze and Roxy. What do you think? I wasn't really the biggest fan of Blaze. I was more of a fan favorite of I was more of a fan of Roxy, but I have a feeling that maybe they will. I feel like when I'm reading some people's stuff on Twitter, I feel like those are the characters that most people are feeling kind of drawn to as of right now. So we'll see. We'll see how that changes for some people as the season progresses. Dino Fury, another Dino Fury, because we had Dino Real Soul, and I think this is another Dino Fury. Yeah, completely different names here. What were some of your favorite original Saban and Disney era seasons, and what do you miss about them compared to the new seasons? For me, a lot of my favorites definitely go back to In Space. I'm a big fan of Lost Galaxy. Oh, not Lost Galaxy, excuse me. Big fan of Time Force also. Time Force and In Space are probably my two favorite seasons. What do I miss about them compared to the new series? I really miss the different set designs. I really feel like Disney really went out of their way to create some pretty interesting set pieces, whether it be brand new like command centers or places where to visit, or for our team to kind of get together. I just love the mindset going into how they put all their seasons together. I don't know, it always felt interesting. It always felt new and different to me. Goku says, I like that. I like that at the end of the trailer shows everything from the end of Rysoulger. Yeah, it shows, it's like, hey, look at all the goodies you guys are going to get this season. Get hyped. Come back for it. Dino Fury also says, what was your reaction when in Lightspeed Rescue we got the first original made Power Ranger with Ryan as the Titanium Ranger? And do you wish he had more original Power Rangers? So for me, I think when I watched it, I'm trying to remember if I think when I originally watched Lightspeed Rescue, I don't think I was under the impression that the Titanium Ranger at the time was an original American version, like an American character. I would be open to more original Power Rangers that never existed in Super Sentai. I would definitely be down for that if they're willing to put the money towards creating the costume and things like that. Yeah, bring it on. I did like that. So for me, it wasn't the idea of a first American Ranger that didn't necessarily get me hyped so much as just seeing a brand new Ranger. You know what I mean? That got me more hyped than anything else, honestly. Do you wish we had more of the current and previous Ranger teams hanging out before and after a crossover? Lost Galaxy and Space were the only ones to do that, even asking the old cast to stay story-wise. What do you think of a crossover we just had with Beast Morphers? Do you think we'll get one in Dino Fury? Well, kind of going to what you're saying, like, I would love to see Beast Morphers return for Dino Fury. I would like to see that cast come back. I did like that idea of harkening back to older seasons or the season before you and giving them recognition also. So for me, I do wish that we had more of that. I don't, and again, it doesn't even necessarily need to be a full team, but I do feel that there is an importance of at least dabbling in, one, maybe two Rangers from a past season from time to time, incorporating them and having them on as an adventure, or at least if not them morphing, then at least incorporating them in part of the story to help the Rangers in some capacity. Just little things like that, I think, would really kind of go a long way to where even if we didn't have a massive crossover, that you still kind of get those vibes and those feels, if you will. So thank you for that, Dino Fury. The A Games 10's got a couple of questions. I wanted to tell you that Power Rangers Official has uploaded the first episode of the revisioned MMPR season. Interesting. Another official channel called Power Rangers Kids has started uploading full episodes of Dino Charge. I am curious if oh, another official channel. Okay, I'm glad you clarified that. I was like, ooh, somebody posting Dino Charge. Hasbro, you better get on them. But no, if it's an official page, that makes sense. Is it more? It is looking more and more like full episodes will be on YouTube in some way instead of streaming. Any thoughts on it? If it's just regular YouTube, I'm perfectly okay with that. It would make sense to me also. Again, just from what I watched over at Illuminati and Heirloom, I believe, referencing the idea that it could potentially go into YouTube. Listen, if you can monetize those videos, right? Place your own ads in between wherever the commercials kind of went and things like that. I would honestly, I think that would be great. You can monetize those, have revenue. YouTube is super huge. It's available for free for everybody. As long as it's not, they made a good point. The idea of it, as long as it's not like premium. If I've got to pay YouTube Premium, or if I got to pay for like YouTube TV or whatever the case may be, nah, man, nah. But if it's just on YouTube and you're putting your own content on your own official channels, I don't see why that should be a problem. I think you could probably make some great revenue. People going back and watching your episodes. Can you imagine, a couple 100,000 fans if, going back and watching some of these Power Rangers seasons? I'm sure they could probably make a pretty penny from YouTube in regards to those full episodes being up there. So it wouldn't be far-fetched. I'm talking about being easily accessible. And that's the one thing that I've always asked for, was the idea like, look, if you're going to take them off of Netflix, just put them somewhere, even if it's internationally, somewhere. I would prefer somewhere internationally where everybody can get the opportunity to watch it, and not just here in the US, to draw more eyes to your franchise. But, I wouldn't mind the idea of YouTube either. I do think that's a interesting concept. And you also wanted to reply to ask one question. If you can at least see this reply, but do you think the Dino Fury theme will be 30 seconds long like Beast Morphers, or 1 minute long like other seasons? I'm thinking 30 seconds long. I wouldn't mind it being the minute long like other seasons, but I can see them kind of going with what they established. If they establish 30 seconds for Beast Morphers, I feel like maybe they'll establish 30 seconds for Dino Fury also. I'm hoping for a minute, but I'm leaning towards 30 seconds, the A Games. So thank you for your questions, man. Gokai did have a quick question on here. He says, have you been enjoying Go Busters? I love Go Busters. Go Busters is probably in my top 5 Super Sentai. We have wrapped up all of our review and reaction videos for Go Busters. They are all available on our YouTube page. Well, they're not all available, but most of them are available here on our YouTube page for you to certainly check out. Yeah, I've really enjoyed Go Busters. I really have. I absolutely loved it. We got a couple more questions here, guys. L'Oreal has a couple questions. Of all the character descriptions, who do you like for Dino Fury? I'm leaning Amelia because of the fact that her journalistic reporting. I made the comparison to her from Chloe from Smallville. If you guys recall, Chloe, I believe, had her wall of weird, where she would report on like really weird things that happened in Smallville, the paranormal, that type of stuff. I definitely get Chloe vibes, minus the sex trafficking aspect of her when it comes to Amelia. So I want to see her again, her and Javi and um, Izzy for sure, because of the fact that I want to see what their sibling relationship is like, especially if they're step brothers and sisters. I hope we get an episode that focuses on their past a little bit. I would really love to see that. Clearly, Chance Perez, who plays Javi, is going to be the quiet musician. So with the support from his sister. So I am expecting, because of the fact that Javi's maybe the quiet one, that Izzy's the more outspoken, athletic one. So yeah, they all fascinate me. But if I had to pick, probably Amelia's character breakdown fascinates me a little bit more. What do you expect for Zenkaiger villains? Well, we kind of highlighted those already at the top. Well, not at the top, but in this episode. So we kind of already see what we're expecting. I am expecting the main villain from the Toji Tendo to be the type of person to order other people around. I do wish that he would get his hands a little bit more dirty, but we'll see. We'll see if he winds up getting more involved as the season progresses, maybe halfway through. But I just feel like it's just going to be another evil guy who's pulling the strings, to these puppets and having them do his bidding. And then when it's time for him to show what he can do, then yeah. What are you expecting for Kiramager's endgame battle against Garza? Very personal and emotional story. The one thing that I've absolutely loved so far about Kiramager is that when you really get down to the nitty gritty, this is a really personal feud between family members. The idea of the main traitor being from your own uncle or being somebody involved in your family, brothers facing against each other, one being upset because somebody just happened to be a little bit older than him, maybe born a couple of minutes or weeks or whatever the case may be, a couple of years before him. So he gets the powers, and not him. This jealousy, this rage that Garza has inside. I really love how personal this is for Garza, along with everybody else, with Mabushina and Takamichi. So I am expecting a very emotional and very heated end to Kiramager, to say the least. But I'm pumped for it. Some amazing action and some amazing emotions are the two I'm definitely looking forward to. All right, let's see here. Shadow Nova. Hey, Adam. I've been wanting to audition for Power Rangers since Beast Morphers. Though I'm not at the right age yet, I've been wanting to do it. But since Hasbro Toy rumor, I've been having doubts and not feeling as confident. I know I could audition for new stuff Hasbro is doing, but I wanted to audition for it as I know it, I have ideas for different PR stuff, but I'm too worried that if I do my own PR stuff, I wouldn't get a chance to become an actual Ranger. What do you think I should do? Change my mindset or what? Good question, Shadow Nova. I've been wanting to audition for Power Rangers since Beast Morphers, though I'm not at the right age yet. I've been wanting to do it. How old are you, Shadow Nova? Let me know how old you are in the comment section box. I've been wanting to do it, but since the Hasbro and Toy rumor, I've been having doubts and not feeling as confident. I know I could audition for new stuff Hasbro is doing, but I wanted to audition for it as I know it. And I have ideas for different PR stuff, but I'm too worried that if I do my own PR stuff, I wouldn't get a chance to become an actual Ranger. So let me say this. So you're 16. Thank you for that, Shadow Nova. I appreciate you letting me know that. I am interested if you've dabbled in writing. Are you taking acting? Are you taking any sort of martial arts, whether that be mixed martial arts, some sort of athleticism? Um, Definitely continue to work on your craft for sure. If you want to create your own PR stuff, I don't think that that would hurt you at all. I think if anything, um, that will probably just help you grow in your own craft. You have to become good at what it is that you do, to really kind of capture the eye of other people. So I wouldn't say you should change your mindset. I think if anything, man, I think you should just push even more into it. We don't necessarily know what the outcome is going to be for Power Rangers. Who's to say 3 years down the road, they don't come up with something fantastic from Hasbro and Power Rangers that fits right into what it is that you want to do. So even though Power Rangers is changing, right? We don't know what it's going to change into as of yet. So it may change into something that's even more appealing to you than what it was before. Maybe it opens up the opportunities for you to have that chance that you necessarily don't have as of right now. But I wouldn't change the mindset that you're in. I would definitely continue along with that. Work on your writing if you've got some ideas. It depends on what you want to do, right? If you want to be an actor per se, then definitely focus on acting. He says, yeah, I'm in theater class at school and I love to write and I used to take karate, but it's been a while. And I don't necessarily think you need to take karate, but I don't think it would hurt either. At least not necessarily even karate, but Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, mixed martial arts. Add some sort of something to your repertoire that would certainly help you stand out a little bit more. You know what I mean? I think that'll certainly go a long way. But the fact that you're in theater class at your school, I think that's a first step to putting yourself out there. If you don't gain the experience to be an actor, they're not going to look at you regardless, right? So keep definitely doing that. Focus on your craft for sure when it comes to your acting. And if you love to write, then start writing on the side if you want to. Start putting together scripts or little movies that you and your friends could certainly be into, and create stuff for yourself, right? Allow you to get comfortable in front of a camera, allow you to kind of get some practice, if you will. And then in your spare time, when you can, try and pick up a martial arts or stunt work or gymnastics or mixed martial arts or wrestling or whatever the case may be. But I feel like you're on the right path, Shadow Nova. I know that you want to be a Power Ranger. But one, we don't know when Power Ranger, what Power Ranger is going to be like when you get to that point. But it doesn't mean that other things won't be there that you might find yourself even more interested in down the road. So while your end goal might be Power Rangers, who's to say on this path for you, if you keep doing what you're doing, that Power Rangers and other opportunities don't open up for you that maybe you didn't expect that you would certainly have had before. So despite the changes that are going on, I know it's nerve-wracking and we don't really know what we're going to get. Don't let that stop you, man, from your dreams. Don't let that stop you from pushing forward whatsoever. Whether you become a Power Ranger or not, we all work to things that sometimes we don't necessarily get to capture. But it doesn't mean that that is what our end goal is supposed to be. Who's to say that you're not supposed to go on to become something even bigger than what Power Rangers is? You know what I'm saying? So keep that mindset, man. Don't stop what you're doing. Stay focused in theater class. Keep working on your craft as an actor, even dabbling to some writing a little bit if you want to, and definitely go ahead and pick up something in regards to help you kind of stand out when it comes to auditions in the future, whether that be fighting or whatever else that you could certainly bring to the table. Definitely focus on that, Shadow Nova, for sure, man. But yeah, I'll definitely keep you in my thoughts, man, going forward in regards to that. I didn't know that you had plans on wanting to be a Power Ranger at some point in time. But just because things are changing doesn't mean that you won't get that opportunity. There's going to be plenty of opportunities, right? Who's to say that you don't get picked for voice acting work as a Power Ranger? You know, who's to say that you don't come into the fandom in some type of other way, whether that be movie wise, whether that be television wise. There's plenty of opportunities out there. And even if it doesn't land you as a Power Ranger, the fact that you are continuing to focus on your craft and become better at it will open the doors to other things in your life that maybe you didn't know that you wanted until that opportunity kind of knocks on the door for you. You know what I mean? So keep pushing through regardless of what the status is of Power Rangers is really what I'm trying to say. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully that helped. Manuel says, I want to be the writer. Well, guys, focus on your craft, you know, continue to focus on your craft. Figure out how to write scripts, you know, what's the format like? How do I go about, once you feel comfortable, how do I go about getting a writing agent, right? L'Oreal, aka Blossom, she's a writer, you know, maybe hit her up, see if she knows, you know, how long have you been writing? You know, is she start publishing some stuff, you know, just definitely work on your craft, guys. Work on your craft. Everything, you know, everything does sometimes depend on opportunity, right? But you won't have that opportunity presented to you unless you work at it. So definitely continue to do so. Shadow Nova says, thanks, Adam. Really inspiring. Helped a ton. Hey, no problem, man. No problem, man. Not a problem, man. If any future Power Ranger is welcome here. So I definitely appreciate you reaching out, Shadow Nova, for that. But yeah, if anytime you guys need a boost in it, definitely go ahead and certainly let me know that, man, because I definitely don't mind doing my part and helping some people out. But I think that is all the questions that we have today. So that is, in fact, going to go ahead and wrap it up for us here today, guys. So thank you very much in regards to that. Yeah, I believe I got everybody's questions. If I didn't, I apologize, but I believe I got everybody's questions. But other than that, guys, that is in fact going to wrap it up for us again. But before we do, just a couple quick things of business. Again, if you haven't subscribed to us yet and you love our content, again, we're not asking you to leave your other fellow Ranger Nation or Tokusatsu YouTubers that you certainly watch. We just want you to add us to your family and add you to our family also. So if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and most importantly, hit that thumbs up. Especially if you guys are in the live chat and you come back week to week and you love this content, hit that big thumbs up, that like button. It really goes a long way. YouTube recognizes our work and certainly recommends it to other people with your help in that regards. And feel free, if you any topics that we talked about that you want to go ahead and further talk about, go ahead and let your thoughts be known in the comment section box below, guys, and we'll definitely further discuss some of the things throughout the week there as well. Again, don't forget, we also do have ourselves a Patreon account. We do need to go ahead and keep these lights on around here. We're putting in some hard work to provide content for everybody. We want to go ahead and boost up our production value to our show and continue to grow each and every week. And in order to do that, we do need your support. So if you are able to support in any other way, feel free to go ahead and join our Patreon, patreon.com/APlusOpinions. Again, you do get exclusive content and early access content, not only to A+ Morphinominal, but also to A+ Hero Report. We also do have a Discord community there where you can go ahead and talk throughout the week. Brand new information that winds up dropping. We can all communicate with one another, and you do get audio versions of all of our shows from both A+ Hero Report and A+ Morphinominal as well. And of course, throughout the week, guys, if you do have any questions, certainly feel free to submit your live viewer questions over to aplusmorphinominal@gmail.com. But other than that, that's going to do it for us here today, guys. So do me a big favor. If you haven't followed us on social media, follow us right here at A+ Opinions. Very active over on our main Facebook page along with Twitter. And you can also catch us on Instagram as well as Twitch for you gamers. So until next time, guys, do me a big favor. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And as always, keep it A+. May the power protect you. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.